fans listening live around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready for the round table.
Welcome everybody to a late night version. We got a late night episode right now. You guys might not know this, but it's dark outside. We usually do it during the morning, but we got a late night episode of Roundtable Wrestling for you. Give it up for yourselves for being here. Give it up for us for getting it to you. And check us out on Patreon, YouTube, Spotify. We're a real good listen. I listen at 1.5 because I'm one of those intellectuals. Otherwise, I have a couple people with me that I want to introduce. First of all, we have Keith the Wildman Miller here.
Hey, what's
hello,
up?
Keith.
I don't understand why everybody's so pissed off about duck lips.
That? Yeah, well, duck lips are just weird.
I think they're kind of hot.
You know, like what
So
do we go?
Yeah. Don't get me angry.
Well, you know what they're supposed to show.
Oh,
they're supposed to show
hey
something.
now. I thought it was like blowing a fake kiss.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but if the lips aren't in the picture, then it's like. Speaking of lips in the picture, we have Chad Big Ton Vandermark.
What up?
He's over here with me, and yours truly, Pablo Aquino, live and in color.
hey.
Well, because at some point I'm going to be even more colorful because I'm going to be actually able to go outside now.
Huh.
It's actually decently okay outside in Minnesota right now. Lord knows.
Maybe not this week, though.
Oh, yeah.
We're basically going to have one more day this week in Indiana.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's about to get cold again. It snowed in Chicago this morning. So
It
Yeah,
snowed
it was
in
30-something
Wisconsin
today,
this morning.
too.
There's snow on my ground out here. Now it's all gone tonight.
yeah.
Yeah, we've had a good week of stuff. We're gonna go over a few lists and even more results for shows for PLEs. You know, because there was about 4 major ones that came out. Just talk about them briefly, and otherwise, I think we're gonna have a good show. And like, subscribe, and follow us, and we'll keep giving you all the news for this hectic, beautiful community known as pro wrestling, and we like doing it for you.
Yeah, man.
All right. Speaking of doing it for you,
Hell.
I'm really liking what they're going for the benefit for Bay, the benefit for Bay.
Oh.
However you pronounce it. They actually came out with a few of the matches they're going to be having. Karrion Kross finally has he finally has his opponent announced. And it's Hammerstone.
Nice.
Yes. So Karrion Kross versus Hammerstone, the 23rd of May. I believe that's when the Bay benefit for Bay in May.
So they're letting WWE people do this?
I'm sorry?
They're letting WWE wrestlers appear on this? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds like the benefit that Taker and Kane did back in 2000.
Yeah. Which one? Who was that for?
Yeah, who was that for?
I believe it was for Yoko.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Yokozuna? All right. Rest in peace, Yokozuna. Somebody else who was also mentioned who had a very big week is Swerve will be fighting Kenny King that night.
Nice.
So that was
Kenny
mentioned.
King, the former exotic dancer.
Turned wrestler, yeah. And then he like if you think about it, pro wrestlers are exotic dancers if you think about it.
Yeah.
Could they get in the ring and wrestle in underwear?
No, because they dance exotically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like look at the people in the back of Keith's picture. If you
Hey,
can't
hey.
see, don't show that.
Keith, he
Oh,
didn't
no.
mean for you to show it, dude.
I
No,
mean,
but it's the way Keith is postured, the way he's standing. You can't tell if they're wearing clothes at all.
right? Yeah.
They just look
So,
like they're in the buff
it
in front
is
of
their undies.
the flag
It
of
is their
Greece.
melodies.
That's wonderful.
And one of them looks so happy, and the other one looks so angry.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what the dichotomy is there. But
I think it's their dynamic specifically.
Yeah.
One just looks more serious, and the
It-
other one's like,
it-
"Hey, dude, let's go
let's go
do
wrestle.
shots." All right, I'm gonna mention some cool happenings this week, and then we can start talking about these lists, and then we'll talk about these results, and then we'll talk about what we think is going to be going on in the future, because we are on the road to WrestleMania for now, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
I think we're coasting there. We're getting to look at the card, and it's starting to formulate, things are looking up. Yeah. And a lot of New York action was happening this week because we had a few of those pay-per-views were in New York. So, which I love. Shout out to everybody. The three of us were born in New York, I believe. Yeah.
We were, yeah.
Yeah.
All in different parts. And
Yeah.
Apparently
all at
Jim
different
Morrison
times.
is alive and living in my hometown.
For real?
Really?
There's a new documentary someone did. I think it's called, I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically something the end. He spent all these years because he thought Jim Morrison was alive looking for him. And now this guy really believes that he has found him as an 81-year-old living in Syracuse, freaking New York.
It's nuts.
Dude, if
Big
you
orange?
are, yeah, if you're a rock star and you're trying to live somewhere like secretly and hide, and you're not going to live in Syracuse, New York. I'm
No.
sorry.
You'd be
It's
better off living in
freezing
Ithaca
there.
than Syracuse.
That city is in a permanent state of decline and has been since like the freaking 90s.
Yep.
Like, you're going to go to Cuba or Hawaii or Jamaica. Like, why
Especially
would
for
you
The,
live?
the last place you would go is Syracuse.
Yeah, why
For the
would you go
lead
to
singer of the
Syracuse?
Doors, you're not going to buy a place in Poughkeepsie.
Yeah, it's just not how it works. But
Well, I'm
yeah,
gonna get my 2 teas over here, and then we're gonna spill the tea.
nice. I kind of have to blow my nose. I'm getting super stuffed. Chad, keep talking.
Okay. Keith told me to keep talking, so I guess what I'm gonna say is that when they get back,
Stop
we're
talking.
gonna. No, that's messed up. I was told to keep talking.
That was just good timing.
Yeah, it was good timing.
Weather changes rock.
Anyway, now that Chad has stopped talking,
Yeah. By the way,
I will start.
TNA sucks.
TNA
Oh,
does not suck, and that's
It
why.
does.
And
Yeah.
that's why
The only good thing about TNA for Pablo is that Speedball or Cornball Mike Bailey isn't there no more.
No, he's on AEW now, and now I
Did
have a
you
reason
see the
to not watch
swerve?
AEW.
What?
Did you see the swerve in that horrible cage match? At least the swerve was good.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, but that match was.
Which match? The cage match with.
I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about it later, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll preface what we were saying. We will talk about it later, but what were you saying? Wasn't a good.
I didn't think that match was good. The 10-man cage.
Oh.
Oh, at TNA.
It was super crowded, so nobody could really do anything.
Yeah,
Like,
I heard it was
stuff
super
that you expect
crowded.
to see in a cage.
So who
just
took
wasn't a
Jeff
lot
Hardy's
of it.
place?
It was
What's
Leon
that?
Slater.
Yeah, Leon Slater did one cool thing.
But that was the reason why he
Alright.
was there. He literally was only
Now-
supposed to be in that because he is the
To
type.
do
It's
the
like
cool
Logan
spot.
Paul in the cage. Like he
I
was
just found out.
there to do a frog splash off the top of the pod.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
found out about Leon Slater, like, and who he was like 2 days ago. Who is
Yeah,
he?
The youngest in charge, man.
No,
The youngest in charge, baby.
I think he's better than Javon
He is
Evans.
better than Javon Evans. Way better. Yeah, he actually
Oh,
managed
by
his
the way,
stuff.
Not a hot take.
If you're going to do
last
that
night-
style, you have to nail your stuff.
2 nights ago was the first
Yeah.
time I've ever seen Obafemi.
Yeah, it's insane, dude.
Really?
And it was amazing,
How do you
right?
feel
And it
about
was
Obafemi?
like a religious experience.
Yes, it was crazy.
Yeah, he's so good.
Much respect to Oba.
Isn't it amazing that Moose was the
So
small guy
wild,
in
dude.
the
That
match?
match was really good. I haven't seen Moose have a match that good in forever. So,
That's just like the Big Show being the smallest man in the match,
that's
or Yoko.
similar. Yeah. But
But Moose did well
yeah,
in being the
I
smaller
mean,
guy.
they
And I
wrestled.
didn't know
I haven't seen
somebody.
Roadblock yet, but
It was a good
I,
match, dude. It was probably
I'm
the match of the night, to be
I'm
honest.
about to watch the 6-man that they were in, the trios match with the Hardys
Yeah.
and Oba, and I haven't
Yeah.
seen that match yet. But I will admit this.
They're good.
On my own accord, I will admit that I have watched more women's matches, and I will admit that, contrary to popular belief, the last 2 episodes of TNA Impact, which were, from what I understand, 2 weeks and 3 weeks out from Sacrifice, I found quite good, to be honest with you.
Right on.
Mainly because because I saw Court Jade.
I was going to say because of this.
I saw Court Jade and Obafemi, and Obafemi is outstanding, and that's the first time I've ever saw him.
The NXT thing is definitely benefiting TNA. Definitely.
Taking the loss. Yeah. Taking the loss the first time you seen him. Because he lost to Moose in that match.
Right.
Obviously not the one
But
in Roadblock.
the 6
We're
man.
talking about.
Did Moose cover him in the 6-man?
Yeah, he did after that horrible spear.
Oh, word.
Which I thought was interesting, but
Moose's spear is still bad. But
if Oba doesn't lose
Was-
on NXT, it's fine. But, you
Yeah.
know,
Was it
Right,
was it worse than
it's giving legitimacy to an actual champion. It's not like some scrub
Right.
beat NXT
right,
champion.
Was it
right,
worse
It
than
just
Goldberg's screw
it
up?
put some doubt into the match going into Roadblock. You know, which is
Was
what
it worse
those
than
matches were
Goldberg's
supposed to do.
spear or Goldberg's botch
Goldberg's
in
spear
Saudi
looked
Arabia?
amazing
Goldberg's
because
spear
Goldberg was
is
running
legit.
through people.
No,
Yeah.
I'm talking about a specific one in Saudi Arabia when he was supposed to wrestle Taker.
Oh, that
and
was
he did
bad.
that spear in
But
Saudi Arabia.
Moose
and he
So
doesn't
screwed
really
up like
Moose's
save.
spear is bad because it looks like he barely hits him.
It looks like a senton where he's like already his back is already to the guy, and he
Yeah.
just nicks him with his shoulder.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah, especially the one he delivered to Obafemi that match.
It's like a freaking it's like a chop block to
It's a tumble.
someone's side. It doesn't
Yeah,
make any sense.
Like Buzz Lightyear. It's like this isn't flying, it's falling.
Who's that
It's
Buzz
not-
Lightyear?
It's not a
I mean,
spear. It's a senton with style.
with style. Yeah, it's just not good.
Speaking of style, and I like the
Yes.
style of this guy, but Paul Walter Hauser, Emmy Award winner, by the way.
Okay. Oh, right,
He
right.
is new executive producer of MLW.
Yeah, and he seems like he's got some good ideas, though.
Yeah, he's competent. He's a fan of wrestling. He's been in wrestling matches. You know,
Right.
he's
I
had a
know. I
few-
know. His first order of business is to get them a permanent streaming home.
Yeah,
with
permanent
somewhere-
home.
Paul
Yeah,
Walter
somewhere
Hauser,
prepping,
the new
so-
executive producer.
Yeah.
I thought it was I thought the deal was it was between Cesar and Bischoff lost.
It's TV
Am I
stuff.
wrong?
That's TV
Huh?
stuff. That's not real.
That's
That's
TV.
TV stuff.
Talking about the actual like.
Yeah, we're talking
product.
about the actual guy. Yeah.
That was just posturing between two.
Yeah, I thought it was
people that
kayfabe,
used
but
to
I
own
was just
two
checking.
companies.
Yeah, considering that he's an Emmy-winning actor, he could always get a role on TV, I suppose.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the executive producer. You know what I mean? But-
Yeah.
Yeah. But here's one more thing that I wanted to say about weird just weird things that like I heard on Raw. I think it was Raw. So Randy Orton dissed Fortnite and said Fortnite was for kids.
Yep.
I know.
Then he admitted that he's put in 5,000 hours in Elden Ring.
Okay.
Well, I guess when he was hurt and when Kevin Owens gave him the pile driver, like he had nothing to do, so he was just 5,000 hours in Elden Ring is impressive.
That's a lot.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Which I I applaud that. Like I've put in that many hours in Pokemon for sure.
And I wonder if Consequences Creed was at the house playing with him.
That'd been fun.
Yeah,
Imagine. I'd love to see.
yeah.
I think he's too busy with Tyler Breeze playing WWE 2K.
Did you see the WWE 2K thing they did with him and Dakota Kai and
I think it
there
was
was
pretty
two other
cool.
people. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
they were
played it
doing a
on
little
like
bit of a demo. Yeah.
yeah, it was outside on this giant freaking screen on a building. They were sitting by a pool
Oh,
playing it
word?
on this like huge freaking screen outside. It was probably in Vegas, I'm assuming, because it was outside like a big hotel on this huge screen up in the air. It was really cool. I follow Dakota Kai on Instagram,
Yeah.
so she's my king. I like that she
Keith,
put King on her gear recently. That was cool.
one of Keith's gimmick is hey, he stands for women of small stature.
Yeah, I mean, I like women of
Yeah.
large stature too. Just depends.
Oh, you like
Betty
Thea
Bates
and
pretty freaking
Dakota
hot,
and Ren and like
and yeah,
they're cute though.
they are cuties. Io Sky and Dakota Kai might be like the definition of little cuties.
They are little cuties.
Yeah.
And I wish they would do nicer to EO because and we'll talk about that. I think we should probably mention the things that are off the product first though.
Yeah, yeah. Did you guys get the thing about Vince Steele?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yes, I
And
was
you mean
gonna
in the chat, right?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I got it to you guys fast because it just happened.
well, since it just happened, and you mentioned it, I'll go ahead and mention Vince Steele at the age of 39 has passed away. I like to say rest in peace and like to say condolences to his family and friends and people that knew him. Keith, do you have anything to add about
Well,
Steele?
I mean, he's a 21-year veteran. Guy been wrestling since he was 18. Had a good chunk of fans. I think on the East Coast was where he was most popular. Died in the ring, had a medical emergency.
Damn.
Bigger guy, so I mean, who knows what it was? But yeah, it's tough, man. You know, and it happened tonight, from what I understand. Like it just happened. It
Yeah,
was at the Grill Compound Wrestling, which I believe is a company in New Jersey. So
yeah, he's from Rahway, so
yeah, yeah.
I've been to Rahway plenty of times. But rest in peace to Vincent Robert Steele.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, it's not Vincent Robert. No, I'm sorry. I don't think that was his real name. His real middle name.
I know.
No.
Oh,
Like to say rest in peace to him though. And
yeah. Yep.
I will say one other thing that happened on the East Coast that was interesting and it was very, very disappointing to hear, but Keith, you actually alluded to it because considering that Hulk Hogan was doing these showings in upstate New York, shout out to
Yeah.
upstate New York, which we've been talking about for the last few minutes, but
Shout out.
people don't know about it. If people don't know about it, Hulk Hogan left his fans stranded in Montgomery, New York at his beer tour event because, apparently he just didn't want to go through with it anymore. No
Hogan
real
show.
explanation given, just flaked bad.
Just kind of left, right?
Yeah.
Or
Not
did he
even
never
just
go?
left. Like he just didn't show up. I'm like,
Didn't show up. Yeah.
Devil's advocate. Maybe he just is old as shit and he forgot.
if you need money,
That's not for you today.
if you need money, I wouldn't forget something like that.
Yeah.
And it was funny because the funny thing about it is like there was news, and like one of the news headlines was like kids were crying.
Yep.
Like
I saw that.
What children nowadays are
Know
really
who Hulk
really
Hogan
invested
is.
in Hulk Hogan?
No.
Like he hasn't done anything.
My son probably doesn't even know who Hulk Hogan is. If he does, I'd be surprised.
That's the funny thing about it. It's just
Say if he does, I'd slap him.
you like
Like,
who?
damn.
Yeah.
Who
Be like,
that?
Casey, do you know who do you know who Hulk Hogan is? And he'd be like, Hulk who?
Dude, the other day we were at home with the missionaries, and one of them asked him for a pass, and he gave him an elbow pass, and the missionary was like, "Oh, just like Pistol Pete. I can't think of his last name in case he goes Pete Maravich. He invented the elbow pass." I was like, "Dude, you are 10." So maybe he does know who Hulk Hogan is.
Casey said that. Wow.
Historian. Hey,
Yeah,
Hey.
yeah,
Jason
Yeah.
Williams perfected the elbow pass.
he
though.
did. Once he figured out that it didn't go in the crowd.
Huh? Did it behind him too. I remember seeing that.
Sick.
That was
That Sacramento team was ridiculous.
Mhm.
Lonnie Divock and Chris Webber and Jason Williams. Like, psh, why did they win 10 championships?
Glad we have such a good energy to this because at some point I'm going to go on a rant. We know why. I think we know why because we
I've
speaking
got
of
some stuff to
we.
talk about. I'm pretty freaking unhappy about some stuff that happened this week.
Well, if you guys
When we
allow
get
me
to
to
it.
actually get through the little tidbits that I wanted to
Yeah,
do and not
sorry.
talk about randomness.
You know how I am. I'm
Yeah,
Captain
we
Rain.
do know how
Oh.
you are.
Captain Rain.
It's all
It's
good.
what makes it entertaining. Captain
Yeah, I
Rain.
think so. It's fun. I like talking to the peeps. Here's one thing that was interesting that I found is that apparently there were two vignettes that are alluding to possible AEW defectors going to WWE.
Yeah.
One being Ray Phoenix, who apparently what people are saying is that the visionette
The
that
Visionette, baby.
the vignette that they had where somebody was sitting on the top rope, that was supposed to be Ray Phoenix.
Yeah, I think Ray Phoenix attacked who did he attack with the American made mask on?
Oh, because it was Ray
Yeah,
and Dragon
Gable.
Lee against the New Day, and then somebody came out in a mask with American made on it, and he said "Gracias" in the
Yeah,
way
yeah.
Chad Gable says it. But then when Chad Gable was getting escorted out, there was somebody, or when they were interviewing Chad Gable,
He's like, it wasn't me.
in the background, there was somebody getting escorted away in that mask.
It was Ray Phoenix.
So the interview just kind of shut up because she
Oh,
No,
assumed it
she was like,
Gable.
something fishy's going on here.
Yeah.
But then
He
it
was like,
made
he
me
was a
think it was like
luchador
maybe it was
wearing exactly what you're wearing.
But maybe it was Julius. But you would be able to tell between
He was smaller.
the
He was
stature of
smaller.
Julius and the
Yeah.
stature of Chad Gable, yeah, because isn't he so
Ray
much
Phoenix.
taller?
It was Ray Phoenix.
How much taller is Ray Phoenix than Chad Gable? Are they comparable?
I would think.
Ray
Yeah.
Phoenix is shorter, I would think.
Ray
Chad
Phoenix
Gable's
shorter
pretty
than
damn
Chad
short,
Gable?
dude.
Chad
I mean-
Gable is a compact guy.
Yeah.
Fits in my overhead bin. Not that I travel, but another talk about somebody who's being possibly going to WWE is that Fightful says, or they indicate that Jeff Cobb is on the roster of WWE, on the internal roster. It hasn't been mentioned at all, but apparently that might have been a leak that they didn't mean to have on there. And maybe that means that we see the monster from Lucha Underground
It's about damn time.
because he is one of the strongest human beings to ever wrestle.
Yeah.
It'd be wonderful.
Yeah, Jeff Cobb is a beast.
Yeah.
Yes. Check him out. NJPW, he wrestles, and I think it was him and Great Okan that were going for the tag championships at one point.
Yeah.
I think he was part of Chaos. You know,
He used to work out here a lot too.
Yeah, he's known for being out here as well, wrestling, but I think he spent just most of his time in NJPW in the last few years.
He was on AEW few times.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so many have. Especially because of that.
So Ray Phoenix is 5'10" and Chad Gable's 5'8".
Really?
Yeah.
Possible you can mess them up, I suppose.
Is that kayfabe or is that?
I mean, that's their listed weight, so who knows? Chad Gable's probably really 5'4". He's probably the size of a little girl. But
He could be. He acts like one.
hey, now I knew that was coming. I set that up.
I know.
Keith, you should have known better.
Yeah, man.
But we are speaking of should have known better. No, I'm kidding.
Did to fall in love with you.
Here was something that came up as well, is that not sure how to take this, but it should be seen as a good thing. But Rusev and Lana, aka Miro and CJ Perry, have apparently rekindled their relationship.
Yeah.
Because they weren't actually divorced. And they recently renewed their vows in California.
Yep.
Dave Meltzer, however, is quoted in saying that he believes that that was a work that they were trying to do in AEW, but Tony Khan wasn't greenlighting it. So instead, he just kept them off of TV. Which I don't know how much credence I give anything Dave Meltzer says.
0.
Yeah. Cough.
Sorry, I had something in my throat there.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Exactly. You know, it's just funny because to try to make everything seem like it could be a work is just silly. Like, oh, she's at the beach with Damian Priest. Must be a work. It's like, no, maybe they're friends.
Yeah.
Maybe she likes bisexual Undertaker.
Maybe.
Right.
I saw an interview with Damian Priest where he was like, I don't know where that came from. He was like, I'm not bisexual. Like, nothing against bisexual people.
Because he looks like a zesty Undertaker, and he had
yeah, he wore eyeliner and all. Yeah. I mean, he gets
like leather and chaps and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like
the fact that when Rhea Ripley forgot her gear, she could wear his.
that.
You know,
That's kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie. Good job, guys. All right. Well, now I want to talk about these lists, get them out of the way.
Ready.
I think it'll be fun. I think I like lists. You know, they also show a little bit into the minds of the people that make them, because you can kind of tell bias, right?
Yeah, and like when they're lists that are presented by mainstream people who don't usually report on wrestling, you see like how the public views it as opposed to how like PWI or Sports Key.
But I think the important thing with
or Meltzer.
The important thing about platforms like us is that we can debunk them and maybe, just correct them because we know better.
Right.
Shout out to people that are, actual fans and not just reading lists and being like, oh, we think this person because of this, So, BET, the bastion of black entertainment television.
Lil Kev.
Yep.
The show looks funny.
He made a top 15 best black wrestlers ever. There was no actual preface as far as like which companies and which what they're looking for, as far as criteria.
No criteria given.
Yeah, exactly. It's just interesting to see a company that isn't wrestling forward come up with something that's wrestling. So I just want to acknowledge it. Shout out to BET and all the white people that run it.
Hey, now.
That's just factual. It's a public company. You can say it. So, Tyler Tynes, written on March 11th, 2025, 8:30 in the morning. He was really in a rush to get this out.
It's like I did it.
Probably because he wanted it out at 8:31.
Oh, because his deadline probably. I used to be a writer for a magazine, so I know deadline. I know how much I hated them. It's funny because he wording wise, he admits that there is cringy. He says, "quote cringe to flat out racist moments in wrestling history." He said, "We've come a long way from Bearcat Wright and Bobo Brazil."
Hey now, Coco Butt was devastating.
What about Booker T on Nitro?
Yeah, exactly.
Not
right?
racist. It was not racist.
And There's been some wild things to come up with this, but for
The
the most
most- yeah.
part, I do like their list because their list is of legitimate wrestlers. It's
Is
just
Derek
that
Dukes on it?
I'm sorry.
Derek Dukes?
You know, you'd be able to find out if you let me say
I'm sorry.
it.
I know he's not, so I was going to be like, it's not relevant if Derek Dukes isn't on it. It was a joke.
He
It was
is not.
kind of a big joke.
He is not. I think he must have been number 16
Yeah, must have been.
behind Akeem, the African Dream.
Hey, now.
We like him, eh? Hey, he's invited to the cookout. Just
Absolutely.
as long as he doesn't bring any food. So
Well, you might have to bring some food because
he
we
Can
all
you get to
yours.
the damn list, please?
I mean, he's from
exactly.
Chicago, dude. He probably makes some good fried chicken.
There he goes. Probably actually, yeah.
Yeah, there's good fried chicken in Chicago that was not.
Chicago
No, I
Fried
wasn't
Chicken.
saying
on that
because of
list.
that. I was saying about. I was about to
It's
say.
not.
I was about to say number 15 was Jazz.
Jazz.
15. Shout out to the two-time women's champion, Jazz. I thought she was great. She used to be a part of the faction with Rodney Mack and Teddy
Yeah.
Long.
White Boy Challenge.
Exactly. She was
Yeah.
That was
she
my
was
shit back in
inspired
the
by
day.
she was inspired by Jacqueline, and she was a two-time champ. Like I said,
Yeah.
she did her thing out there, and she was tough and rugged and strong. She
That's a-
made the list. So
Did
congratulations
she,
to her.
the first time I remember seeing Jazz, I think was in ECW when she was feuding with Chili Willy.
Yep. That's
Like she was
exactly
feuding with
what
a
she.
dude. Yeah.
That's exactly what she was. She was at ECW with Chili Willy. I
Yep.
remember that shit.
Yep. That's the first time I've ever seen her. She was one of the first women wrestlers that I remember feud with a man, like in a
Man,
real
yeah.
feud.
Yep.
Because she had a stocky but like built stature.
Yeah.
And she could lift people, and she was tough, you know.
Right.
She beat Trish and Lita in a match in WrestleMania in a triple threat for the championship to retain, I believe.
Okay.
No pun intended, but I used to do the White Boy Challenge.
Is that a pun?
Yeah, I don't think that's a pun.
It is punny
Well,
though.
yeah, because some people would think I'm white.
Yeah, you're enough to where you would be considered white no matter what.
Yeah.
Like I'm only 12% white. Like you are
Pretty sure I'm
you are off white.
108% white.
You said off white.
You are off white.
My man.
Anyway.
You are teeth that have been brushed thoroughly. So shout out to Jazz, number 15. Number 14 is somebody who is current, and his name is Shelton Benjamin.
I knew it.
That's interesting. I think he was a little bit low.
Yeah, it should be.
Wait, now
13 I also think should be higher as well, considering that she has a decent amount of accolades as Naomi.
and you said this is the best heel turns?
No, this is
No,
best
not
black wrestlers.
best
Oh, all right,
black
I got you.
wrestlers
I
ever.
got you.
According
My
to a
bad.
white guy who works for BET.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if
I know, I'm
if
just
Tyler
kidding, dude.
is the person
Yeah.
is the person that came up with it, or if it was like a collective thing between
Right.
them.
So the best
But,
black
you know,
wrestlers. This is the top 15 list of the top of the best black wrestlers.
Yes.
Yes, but it
Okay.
doesn't actually speak about whether if it's supposed to be WWE, but they have the accolades of outside of WWE. Like they mentioned that Shelton Benjamin is AEW Tag Team Champion, so I imagine that
Right.
it's all encompassing, which
Yes.
makes it even weirder considering. But I'll get through it, and then we'll talk about who obviously isn't on this list. Number
Okay.
12, again with the tough and rough women that wrestle men. 12 is Jacqueline.
Okay.
WWE Hall of Famer and former cruiserweight champion. Shout out to Jacqueline, who was a very good worker. Big E is 11,
Okay.
which I find to be interesting. You know,
Yeah.
shout out to one of the longest tenured wrestlers, Devon Dudley. He
Who?
is there. He's a WWE Hall of Famer and TNA Hall of Famer. So, considering he just cracks the top 10, tells you that there are so many good wrestlers on this list.
Yeah.
Thing is, though, some are missing, and we'll talk about that. Like I said, 9 is Bianca. Bianca Belair. Funny enough, she's 9 on the women's list too.
Isn't it? Jeez.
I was like, she should. That's criminally low. Bobby Lashley is number 8. Shout out.
Almighty.
He obviously belongs in the top 10.
Right.
Farouk is number 7. Shout out to
Hey.
him.
First black world champion.
Yep.
First black WCW champion. And I believe he was he NWA champion?
No.
No, he wasn't.
As far as I know,
Oh,
he's only WCW.
I'm sorry. There was a different Ron that was NWA champion. Shout out to him. Ron the Truth Killings, of course.
Sunshine Superman.
Yes. Also,
Sunshine Superman.
Ron Simmons, who is he is also a college football Hall of Famer. You know, he's on the Ring of Fame. You know.
He got that trophy that they give to.
Yeah, the Heisman
It's
Trophy.
The best college player. Is that what it is? Yeah.
Heisman Trophy.
I don't know.
No, the Heisman Trophy is it is the best college player, but it's never for a D lineman or offensive lineman to be honest.
Right. It's quarterbacks mostly, right? They get the Heisman.
Yeah. Mostly, Travis Hunter won it this year, and he was famously wide receiver and cornerback, but that was just
I mean, mostly, I believe, and I could be wrong. I don't follow college football. I'm trying to, but from what I understand, the Heisman goes to mostly quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, stuff like that.
Statistics, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know, the statistics a lot of the time.
Much like in the NFL, the MVP has become a quarterback award, and a lot of people think that Saquon should have got it for getting 2,000 yards this season.
I do. I think he should have gotten it.
I think he should have got it too.
I think it's weird that you just only give it to the person who's the signal caller. It's like, yeah, obviously, you care about them the most. You know, they're literally the most important position aside from the people that are made to protect them and the people that are made to hurt them. You know, the offensive tackle and the D lineman.
Yep.
The DNs get the most money as well. So, like, shout out to Myles Garrett, who's getting a bag. Number 6. Speaking of,
where did he finally go?
Oh, he stayed with the Browns. He stayed with the Browns.
He did stay with the Browns
for the biggest contract in history. They gave him the Godfather. You know, the offer you can't use.
Oh, where he deserves it too.
$40 million a year is wild.
Fuck out of here! For how many years?
$40 million a year. I don't even know.
Where's this guy live?
Garrett? Oh, he's being funny. Okay.
Yeah, he's trying to be funny.
Not too far from you.
You know, hey, yeah, that's right. Technically, but what's up, brother?
He asked you to hit record real quick.
Yep.
You got it?
Hold on.
Okay.
Recording in progress.
All right, we got it. All right.
Yep.
All right, we're good.
The very next one, considering we were just talking about big menacing people, Junkyard Dog, number 6. So
JYD.
Respect. It's cool. I do like the fact that Tyler mentioned that he is an 8-time Mid-South champion and Mid-South tag team champion.
Yes, sir.
And he's a WWE Hall of Famer. You know, I still think that there's not enough on there for him to be that high.
Grab them cakes.
Respect, though. Respect.
Yeah.
Number 5, interestingly enough, number 5 on the women's list is also number 5 on this list. It's Mercedes Moné.
Hey now.
No.
The 5th black wrestler of all time.
Exactly. Let's talk about how much I do not like this list.
What now? What did you say, Keith?
I said holy mackerel.
No, but after that.
It's a fish. No, that's all I said. I just said holy mackerel.
He said holy mackerel, number 5 on the best black wrestlers list.
Yeah. Okay, sorry.
No.
I think Snoop Dogg helped write this list.
I think Snoop Dogg helped her get to where she is in the business.
Oh, he did.
Oh, yeah. But she also put in that time and effort, and shout out to her because she's, you know, even though I find her to be a little bit cringe, she is putting herself over and doing what she needs to do to stay relevant and stay on top of the scene, which she is. Begrudgingly to some people, she's the tops of the scene.
She does that dance.
Even though she's technically the mid-card title holder, which I still find to be strange.
Yeah. They're paying her all that money to be the mid-card title holder.
Just to be the mid-card title holder and beat people that are like leagues out. Like she's out of their league.
Yep.
Her Tony Storm would be money too, man. Why aren't they doing that?
It will be, or it will be.
Oh, because they don't want to bury one of them.
Right, fair.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Kind of
buried,
like. My
what's
bad.
up?
Go ahead.
Okay. So speaking of buried, one of the strongest men alive, Mark Henry, was number 4
Hey now,
because he used to
he can
bury
dunk a basketball.
his Hall of Pain run. He used to literally bury people like doing the
Oh,
World Strongest Slam on them.
Yeah, strongest slam move.
Mhm. Shout out to him, and then shout out also the magical run of Kofi Kingston,
Okay.
the highest ranked one-time champion on
Dude,
this
I'm
list.
confused for a second, but go ahead.
You said you're confused about the
Yeah,
list?
are we number 3?
We're at number 3.
Kofi's number 3,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken.
So
Okay.
we all know who the top 2 are.
I hope so.
So
I hope so too.
so the second one is the final boss, The Rock.
Okay. Okay.
And number 1 is my favorite wrestler growing up, who I now kind of can't stand. The
He's an idiot.
five-time. I don't even know if he's 5-time. Doesn't he more?
He's 6-time now, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
But
But
5-time was better gimmick.
6-time
Yeah.
doesn't work that way.
6-time didn't have the
You know, WWE Grand Slam champion, you know, Triple Crown winner, 2-time Hall of Famer, first time with Stevie Ray as Harlem Heat, and then as a standalone, you know, part of Aces and Eights in TNA, and like he's probably going to be a TNA Hall of Famer as well if he isn't
He was
already.
in the WWE's version of the NWO.
Mm-hmm. And if I can mention, we just had a feud in AEW that culminated and that we spoke about, or I believe that we will speak about, right? At Revolution.
Yeah.
But where is Swerve on this list?
Maybe they thought he was too new. No.
Oh yeah, the guy who's been wrestling for 15 years.
Yeah. Right. But I mean, as
I
far as
mean,
that spotlight
he
stuff.
spent he spent most of his career in MLW,
Right.
and he was in WWE for like a cup of coffee.
Still won a championship or two.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then AEW, he was world heavyweight champ for a few months. I would think he should be on the list, low or high.
I
Yeah, I
feel
would
like
agree.
that would be
I
enough
agree.
to get him over Junkyard Dog.
Yeah.
His
It's
accolades already
right.
give
I
him
mean,
top
I mean,
10.
if we're being honest, being a world heavyweight champ would get you over JYD because JYD never won the belt in
Especially if
WWE.
it's if it's
If
a
it's all
kayfabe
encompassing,
list.
like it's indies as well, then you have to
Yeah.
count everything he's done in the indies. If Mid
Yeah.
South is an indie,
Right.
let's be honest, and then he's above Jacqueline.
Yeah.
Respect to Jacqueline and Jazz, but like a 2-time champion over
I
somebody who's
mean, if
done everything you can
I
do.
mean, if we're being honest, he's a one time. Is he a one time or 2-time heavyweight champion? One time, right?
Swerve, he'll soon to be 2-time, but yeah, one
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now he's one
Well,
time.
his son been soon to be 2-time.
So
And then
so if
get
we're
him
if we're being
Ricochet at the top of the card.
if we're being real, if you do one time versus one time, he should be at least the same level as Kofi.
Well, Kofi's longevity and the fact that he's been mid card title, but also has been tag champion a bunch of times. I see
Yeah.
what they're
I think
doing
he
with
was like
him.
9-time tag team champion, like 4 or 5-time intercontinental champion, something like that. Him and Miz were fighting over that mid card title for like 4 or 5 years, I think.
Right.
And doing well with it, but also if you have 2 parts of the New Day in and you don't have Xavier Woods,
That's weird, right?
is it really only because of the world title? Because Xavier Woods is at this point, we all know he's a WWE Hall of Famer.
Yep.
Yeah.
From what he's done with the New Day, from starting the New Day to being the integral part, like being one of the talk pieces, granted, singles championships. He's a King of the Ring winner, which means something. You would think, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Just shout out to the people that I feel like are really good, like Ricochet. Shout out to the people that didn't make that list
Now
again.
something that kind
What's
of
Isaiah
confuses
Scott's
me.
indie name? Why can't I think of it off the top of my head?
Who?
Is that Isaiah
Isaiah
Scott?
Scott.
That's Swerve.
What? Oh, that's Swerve. Okay.
Yeah, that is Swerve.
Yeah, so he was. Are you being funny?
No, I
No.
forgot, dude.
Oh, okay. I was about
That's
to say,
just
yeah.
like me.
I forgot that Swerve was Isaiah Scott.
Because
For a
remember,
second,
he
I
was
was thinking it was two
Isaiah
different people.
Swerve Scott. He was
Right.
Isaiah Swerve
Right.
Scott. And then he
Right.
was
That's just like the
activated.
time that
Right.
I was talking to Keith and it took me like 12 years, but I finally figured out that Tyler Black was Seth Rollins.
Huh?
They look surprisingly similar.
I know, right?
They must be brothers.
Like they could be the same guy.
I know, right? They could
Oh.
be twins.
Did
Yeah.
you also know that PJ Black is actually Justin Gabriel?
Yes, I did know that, smart ass.
Tyler
Hear that?
Tyler Black to me looks like if Seth Rollins was in the Indies like 10 years ago.
Now, you want to know the funny part? I've talked to Tyler Black, and he worked for me once.
Yeah, I saw Tyler Black real briefly at a ROH show. I was hanging out backstage. He just came up.
Speaking of Tyler Black, is Tyler Black? I want to ask him. I literally am
He's
going
Armenian.
I might have to look up Tyler.
You're on Medium.com.
No, I said he's Armenian, dude.
Oh,
he's Armenian.
I was say his last name's Lopez.
But that's because he's
Oh
adopted.
no,
He's
Colby
Armenian.
Lopez, Tyler Black. No, I was saying is Tyler from BET.com Black.
Oh, that Tyler.
Is Tyler Black, yeah. But no, Colby Lopez from Iowa is not black.
No, he's not black.
He is a Bears fan, and he's an interesting.
He's a Bears fan,
guy
and
on
him
Up,
and
Up,
his
Down,
wife
Down.
were at the Bears. Was at a Bears game last year, and they put it on social media.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to Stevie Ray. Shout out to Coco Beware. Shout out to R-Truth. All these other wrestlers.
Where's R-Truth? So I kind of feel like they felt like they had to balance it out between men and women.
Yeah, I think you're
because
right.
Because if you don't think that R-Truth is better than almost all the women on that list, you don't.
I feel like what they should have done was put all the black wrestlers in one list and ranked them that way, so nobody's left
black
out.
Wrestler ever?
Well, WWE, like the top tier.
If it was all meant to just be WWE, then they probably should have. And then they could have added like the Godfather. They could have added D'Lo Brown. They could have added.
Oh yeah, D'Lo. Jeez.
Well, think about it. There's so many.
Broke somebody's neck.
So good.
But because there's hasn't been much of being on the top of the top as far as like being a black wrestler, like because we've seen, even with Vince McMahon's involvement in Kofi's angle.
Where's Tony Atlas?
What happened?
Where's Tony
Atlas?
Tony Atlas, yeah. It's just a little silly, like.
Yeah.
I mean, Tony Atlas and Rocky Johnson should both be on that list.
Ooh, Rocky Johnson was a wrestler's wrestler too. Like he was good.
He was.
Yeah, but we could probably. That's the funny thing about it is like we could probably mention it till the cows come home about how many. But I think it's just it's indicative to the fact that WWE has had so little main eventers where I think he had to mention literally every single black wrestler that's been a champion.
Yeah.
Which is silly.
And there hasn't been that many, dude.
Yeah, like the top 8. And not even counting, because Junkyard Dog. But like the top 8 were all 8 wrestlers that won.
Yeah.
And it was like and they mixed in Sasha.
And all right, I'm not trying to be an ass, but I need to ask a question.
Mm-hmm.
You said the top black. These are the 15 top black wrestlers, right?
Yeah, man.
Yes.
All right. Now, does that mean full black, half black, quarter black? Because Rock and Sasha are not.
Black.
Yeah, clearly it just means
Yeah,
you black,
any
dude.
sort of
I'm,
black, I'd imagine that
I,
they would be.
I'm not trying to sound ignorant or not, and I just, just wanted to ask a question.
Yeah,
No, it's cool. But yeah, it seems like if you identify as black or they if identify you as black, because yeah, Rocky Johnson is The Rock's father, and he
yeah.
is, he is a
Rocky Johnson should have been on that list just as much as Tony Atlas.
yeah.
I'm good with
They
Booker T
both
being
together.
number one. I know that you guys said you weren't, but
No,
I
I'm
think Booker
not.
T is the best black wrestler of all time.
I
No.
think he's the quintessential black wrestler, just
Yeah.
being that he does everything well.
Yep,
He
exactly.
was very good. He had a lot of success, and
Yep.
he
Yeah.
he
I
did
think
very
there's a chance that Booker T is always in the discussion for best wrestler ever, in my opinion. Like he might be,
Yeah, considering he's been on the top as a tag team. He's been
There was
solo,
10-time tag wrestlers, 5-time. Now,
6-time
when somebody
technically, and then
when
yeah,
you said
10-time tag with
6-time
Harlem Heat.
heavyweight, when was
Yep.
number 6?
In WWE.
King Booker.
Yeah, he was King Booker. He won the SmackDown
Because
title.
Oh
remember,
yeah,
it was
that's right.
5-time
That's right.
WCW champion. That's what he
Yeah.
would say.
Okay,
Yeah.
my bad. I forgot all about that shit.
Yep.
And King Booker was a huge. I
Oh yeah,
find
King
King
him to
Booker
be
Booker
was
a
was
awesome.
very
crazy,
With the
dude.
pinky and freaking man. And his fake British accent, dude, that was so good.
That was so dope.
So good.
King Booker.
So good.
It's just silly. And having William Regal around, I was like, hilarious. He just made it. He made do. He made it
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we could probably make our own list one day, and I think
And
we could,
all the wrestlers who came over from WCW, he was the only one who really had a ton of success.
He did.
Like who came over in that initial group of people,
I mean, you can't.
it was
I
Booker
mean,
T.
I'd love
if
to
you
see
if
their Hispanic list if there is one.
I mean
Ever.
if you
Well,
look
Ray's probably number one no matter what.
if you look, dude, if you look at all the wrestlers that came over from WCW in 2001, how
Yeah.
many are there besides Booker T? How many people are still there?
Nobody. Yeah, nobody.
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
Shane Helms in the back, but
Yeah. And then you got Buff whining, talking about he was
Okay.
main eventer in WCW, and he thought that Vince and them should have signed him, and he would have been one of the best wrestlers in WWF back when they bought WCW.
well,
That's
that's
And he's
super
he's
old
still
news.
whining about that stuff.
Yeah, super old news.
all right. I'm going to quickly mention this WWE official because this obviously, what we were just talking about was from BET.com, and you guys can
Yeah.
check out these the reasoning that he put, and if you want to look it up, BET.com, it'll come up 15 greatest black wrestlers, and make your own opinions, and shout out to people just talking about wrestling. I just
Yeah,
like the fact that they're being shown. But WWE, because we were talking, or because they were, there was so much uproar about John Cena's heel turn, they decided to do their own list. Their own list of WWE heel turns. So it's not of any other companies, it's just straight up WWE. And I think we should mention the things that we remember, and then maybe talk about what should be higher, what should be lower, what should be there, because I already in the top of my head I have two that I'm very shocked that aren't even on this.
Okay.
Right.
So I'm gonna go from 30 to 1. I'm gonna just maybe ad lib, maybe oohs and ahs, maybe ooh, like or an ooh wee or a
It's a lot. 30 is a
Now
lot.
when you mention number 30, I might forget by 25, dude. Just remember, I don't have a good memory.
if
real.
something
Sorry.
just catches your mind or whatever, just
Yeah, if it's worth talking about, we'll talk about it.
All right, cool.
It's interesting because it starts out real hot. Number 30 is a legendary spot, but Kevin Owens against Sami Zayn after Sami Zayn beat Neville for the championship, I believe, in NXT. When that emotional hug he gave Sami Zayn, and then first ever apron powerbomb that he had done.
Yeah.
Which is nice considering that he did a little bit of an ode to that in their last match that they had, which I imagine is the last match they're going to have ever.
Hopefully.
Like on that main stage. Yeah, hopefully.
Yep.
So KO against Sammy after the big NXT win he had. 29 was Shinsuke low blowing AJ Styles at WrestleMania New Orleans after he lost. Mm-hmm. Number 28 was Tatanka selling out to Ted DiBiase against Lex Luger.
Hell
Wow.
yeah. Hell yeah.
I think so.
I
He's
remember
like, he did it for the money.
Everybody's got a price.
Everybody's got a price.
for the $1 million man, and it's not for his soul; it's for dough.
Mm-hmm. That's really the only thing worth selling out for, right? That's what they
Yeah.
said. Number 27. 27. That was a meme about that. It was funny. I did that kind of well. Is Balor beating up Gargano and DIY in favor of Undisputed Era during that feud that they had? When Balor was on the same side as them and he was faking as if he came out to help DIY, and then he turned around and just absolutely beat the crap out of Johnny Gargano.
Right.
Which is interesting because I thought that was going to lead to Finn Balor joining the Undisputed Era, but it never did.
Yeah, actually, that's what I thought too, dude.
Mm-hmm. But hey, I liked what they did with Undisputed Era. 26 was Bayley coming out, and they thought that she was going to help Becky Lynch, but she ended up going heel and helping Sasha Banks and hitting Becky with the chair in NXT. And then that's right before they became tag champions, I believe. Becky and Bayley and Sasha. 25, which I think is criminally low. Salmon Suit Mark Henry saying he's got a lot left in the tank. His false retirement and going in for the hug and giving the world's strongest slam to then champion John Cena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I thought was great. I thought that was an amazing a fake retirement into that.
Right.
I think it's amazing. And maybe we'll see John Cena do the same thing.
It was also an amazing use of the world's strongest slam.
Yeah, it was.
Exactly, because it looked like he was going to hug him, and he went over with the shoulder first, and then out of nowhere, smooth transition and everything. It was it was an absolutely great spot, and I think
this is a reach, but it's comparable to wordplay and rap. Yeah,
I would say it definitely. It's flowed well. Lord knows there was emotion. People actually believed him.
Yeah.
Then again, if you were a fan of Michael Jordan, you'd be like, "Oh, is he really retiring?"
Dude was crying though. That kind of made it real.
Well, yeah, exactly. Mark Henry was kind, and he wasn't a heel. But then that was his.
No, I said he was crying.
Oh no, yeah, he was crying. Yes, he was literally selling it, and he did a good job, and that probably was the reason why he ended up number 4 on that list.
Yeah.
Yes. Otherwise, number 24 was then wife of Kane, Lita, passing Edge the briefcase and distracting Kane while he was on the top rope, then leading to husband of the year, Kane losing to Edge, and then Lita giving him kisses.
Can we just forget all of that?
I know, right?
I don't even want to remember that Kane and Lita, I don't all of that.
And their baby angle.
Get rid of the whole thing, man. Yeah.
It wasn't his fault.
It was his fault. But it was also not Kane's fault that he raped Lita and got her pregnant. And
That's
then
a
she
wild
fell
thing
in
to
love
say
with him.
on live, though. We might have to bleep that out.
Oh, the R word? I didn't.
Yes.
Okay.
That's all good. But yeah, it was it's a wild thing.
Just
that was a literal storyline that it wasn't.
Yeah, bad angle, man. Can we just not?
It was horrible, yeah.
Jeez, can we just not?
Yeah, but it was that was ranked number 24 on the list, which I thought Salmon Suit Mark Henry would have been much higher than that.
Yeah, and how did Kane end up the babyface in this situation?
But it ended up working for him because people had sympathy for him.
I think in the era
Matt Hardy.
I think in the era of we don't pretend things didn't happen, I think everybody's okay with pretending that didn't happen.
Yeah,
For real.
let's
I
pretend
would
that
like
didn't
that,
happen.
yeah.
There's a few things I would like to pretend that didn't happen.
Yeah, like them completely squandering Dexter Loomis's North American run because never giving it to him.
So they
Squandering Dexter Loomis as a character was such a horrible
and
thing.
they're
But
still doing it.
yep, they're still doing it because I don't know what Wyatt Six is gonna do. But
Apparently they're on SmackDown and but they haven't made an appearance as far as I know.
nope, they
Right.
haven't done much at all. But let me get through this and then we'll
Yeah.
All right, my
mention
bad.
that we got like 4 of these pay-per-views that skim
Yeah.
through. Few of them that I don't really want to skim through, but some of them I will. But Sami Zayn pulling Kevin Owens off of the table so Shane would miss him when he jumped off the Hell in a Cell to do the elbow drop. That was considered Sami Zayn's heel turn.
Wow.
And that's number 23.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
Okay.
Very big moment, considering he saved his friend, which
Yeah.
seemed like more of a face thing to do, but he was saving a heel. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like a
yeah.
babyface overlooking the fact that Kevin Owens was a POS and saving him
Exactly.
anyway because he felt bad.
yeah, but it's a nice thing about Sami Zayn. That was Sami Zayn's gimmick, that he was just too trusting. And he keeps
Yeah.
trusting Kevin Owens over and over and over, and it keeps happening.
Yep.
But shout out to him for being just such a great character, Sami Zayn. Speaking of characters, oof. 22 is Ric Flair. You want to talk about which one you think this is?
Keith, go ahead.
Ric Flair turned heel?
When Ric Flair turned heel, I believe it was pre my birth in WCW in a tag.
Okay, it's not
Pre your birth, how old are you, Pablo?
I'm 34.
34. So pre your birthday would be
90. Like I was born in 90, so
so before 90.
I believe, but I'll just mention it because there's just so many different ones.
Okay.
But Flair was in a tag match with Sting. Pre-Crow
So
Sting.
what's the Sting thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you got
What's the Sting thing?
yeah,
Yeah.
when he it was Arn Anderson and Ole, I think, on the other side.
Well, it wasn't actually a tag match. What they did was Sting had won the right to face Ric Flair at the Great American Bash,
Mhm.
and they were all 4 horsemen at that time.
Yes.
And so they did an interview at a Clash of the Champions where all the 4 horsemen were going to get together and talk about the match.
Mhm.
And Ole Anderson was like, "The 4 horsemen were built to protect Ric Flair, you idiot." And
Yeah.
They beat the hell out of him.
They did. I remember. Matter of fact, I just saw highlights of that the other day, Keith.
Yeah.
No,
That's
Ric
the only time I
Flair
remember
got the
seeing
hot tag.
this
Ric Flair got the hot tag and then immediately bounced off the rings or bounced off the ropes and chops Sting, I think.
Oh, so
Yeah.
you may have turned on Sting more than once.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, I guess he might have turned. The only one I remember is that one from the Clash. But okay, so he turned on Sting more than once. Sting
Yep,
has Sami Zayn syndrome apparently.
For
No,
real.
he really does actually, Sting. Shout out to him though. Speaking of Sami Zayn syndrome, Johnny Gargano getting beat the crap or getting the crap beat out of him by Tommaso Ciampa after their final DIY in NXT match, where famously Tommaso Ciampa gave him the half hug and was like, I love you, right? And then throws him into the LED board, and then
Oh, yeah, I remember that. I saw that match actually.
Yep.
It was during a great time in NXT, and the ovation was super loud.
Yeah.
And to be honest, for this not to be top 20 is interesting.
Yeah.
But it was number 21. And then number 20, another tag heel turn was then Matt turned against Jeff on Raw, I believe.
Yeah. They proceeded to have the most boring match in WrestleMania history.
Yep.
Yes, the heck it was. Like him and Jimmy, or Jimmy and Jay getting in their match, and that being a pretty bad match considering it was their dream match.
Yeah.
But when brothers fight each other, I guess they want to be safe, kind of like how Moose was safe with Oba.
Fair.
19 was Raw 1000 when CM Punk GTS'd The Rock. Which I'm hoping they'll mention at some point when the eventual Rock versus CM Punk will happen.
Right.
Which I love. Then another brother, Scott Steiner, joining NWO, beating up Rick Steiner.
And he put him in the recliner and everything.
Which I thought was an amazing, considering that Rick Steiner would always do that dog gimmick through his legs, and then which was literally like setting him up for the clutch.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I thought like so he double axe handled him while he was there, and it was like it was a big moment for Steiner because Scott Steiner at that time was very vanilla. It seemed.
You said very vanilla.
I mean,
Speaking of vanilla, we had some Canadian on Canadian action. Trish Stratus in favor of Christian against Jericho at Mania.
Kiss,
where the kiss around the world.
$5 Canadian.
Exactly. We loved it. And then Christian going on his probably his second best heel run.
Yeah, that was when he became the CBL, right? Or CLB.
Yeah. And I thought it was a good Christian.
It was good.
We'll talk about Christian a little later.
Yeah.
And then,
the man who should be king.
Exactly. We'll power through this and then immediately go to that. Yeah. So Eddie's last heel run against Rey Mysterio. So the right before the I'm Your Puppy. So that one was number 16. So you know where we are. Number 15 was the Mega Powers breaking up.
Lust in your eyes.
Exactly. Randy Savage blaming Hulk Hogan for getting Miss Elizabeth in the crossfire and all of that. He grabbed
her by the butt when he put her on his shoulder.
Yep. Yes, he did. And Terry Bollea is a monster.
Yeah.
And 14 was interesting, but Bob Backlund snapping on Bret Hart after their match and putting him in the chicken wing.
Ah, that's a good one.
Which is interesting. Was a good one. Bob Backlund was like forever face.
Yeah, Bob Backlund went nuts, dude.
Mm-hmm.
He looked at his hands. Looking at his hands. That's what crazy people do.
Yeah, but that's why it was such a good angle.
Yeah, I loved it.
You know, and then like he was like Mr. Rogers. Like, he was so nice, and then he just became.
The heels used to call him Howdy Doody. They used to call him Bob Howdy Doody Backlund. They did. The heels used to, heels used to call him Bob Howdy Doody.
Speaking of somebody snapping, though, Shane against Miz at Fastlane when he beat the Miz up in front of his father.
Can I talk about this?
Your son and put him in the triangle hold and was like hitting him.
Yeah.
Can I talk about this for like 5 seconds?
What's up, brother?
So when they got together, I knew that where that was going. I don't know if anybody else knew or if they thought about that before or not.
100%.
Because it wasn't so obvious. I'm not saying that because I'm really good at predictions. I think it was just super obvious.
Shane and Miz.
Yeah, when they got together, when the Miz convinced him to join him as his partner, it seemed so forced on Shane's part. Like you could see his body language; he was doing it reluctantly.
Right.
Well, at first I thought that Miz was the one that was going to go against Shane, but I thought it was interesting. It was a little bit refreshing that Shane was the one that actually went heel. But yeah, it did look forced because let's be honest.
I mean, it was meant to, but I called that. I'm sure I'm not the only one either.
No, you're not.
But that's one of those things where you just you're happy that it ended up happening anyway.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not mad about it. I just want to make sure I wasn't the only one.
No, you weren't.
Number 12 is something that people were mad about though. Paul Bearer choosing Mankind over Taker.
Ooh,
I remember that.
Yeah. And him denying the urn from the Undertaker.
Yeah, and then he hit it with it, right?
Yeah, he did.
I believe so. And then he gave it to Mankind.
Yeah, he hit it. He hit Taker.
He was on his knees waiting for the urn, and Taker bashed him in the face with it.
Yeah, and then gave it to Mankind.
Yeah,
what a guy. 11 was Great Friends Batista and Rey Mysterio when Batista decimated his friend Rey at bragging rights. And now we're getting to the top 10.
Okay, where we
It's
got?
interesting because I think the top 20 had more.
Alrighty then.
Top 10 was Best for Business. Do you remember that one?
Yep.
That was Triple H's heel turn on
That
Daniel
was
Bryan.
Triple H's thing with
No,
Stephanie.
it was Triple H as the referee
Yeah,
helping
that's
Randy
honestly.
Orton.
Wasn't that Randy Orton?
Yeah, Randy Orton cashing in after Triple H, the referee, pedigrees Daniel Bryan.
You know what's crazy about that?
What's up?
That's literally, I started watching wrestling right before that.
Oh yeah.
That was my introduction to wrestling.
Nice.
This is an amazing way to start, to be honest.
Well, I mean, I watched it before, but full time, like I've been watching it for the last since then, like all the time.
Yeah.
So number 9, this is the one where I'm kind of confused why this one's so high, but the Bellas, the mutiny that Nikki helped Stephanie McMahon by beating up or smacking Brie.
Okay,
That was number 9.
I'm not sure if I remember that one.
I remember it.
There was nothing really to remember about it because it just seemed very out of place, and like I guess we wanted to see Nikki versus Brie Bella.
It
Maybe-
didn't last
maybe-
that long either.
Exactly.
Maybe that's why I don't remember it, because I mean I seriously don't remember it. And it's not because of my memory. I don't remember it at all. I remember mostly everything that you talked about on the list, but I don't remember that one.
So basically, Nikki beats her down for like 3 weeks, probably longer, but we'll just say 3 weeks, and then she says, "I'll stop beating you down if you be my personal assistant," and then that's kind of where that went.
And then it stopped after she was a personal
Speaking
assistant
of
type
personal-
thing.
It just kind of they
personal
stopped
assistant.
being on TV. I don't know what happened
Yeah,
after that.
baby. Anyway,
Well, I've been personal assistant.
personal assistants won some tag belts this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm liking that. Yes.
Yeah, it's dope, dude. I'm down.
Shout out to them. I was gonna mention that, but we're gonna shout out them after when we get
Wait,
to
them girls, Elegance won the tag
Yeah,
belt.
yeah, they won the tag belts. Yeah.
Yep. We're gonna mention that
Sacrifice.
the few.
Yeah, I just wanted to do a little. Yeah, I didn't want to talk about. I just wanted to.
No,
But
I
I'm
was
happy-
just
I'm happy
curious
they
because
did.
I was wondering. I was actually kind of curious about the
Nothing against Spitfire. Like I like
results of
Spitfire, but
Sacrifice.
I'm a big Heather Reckless fan. So
Mhm.
I think she's very good.
I'm liking her too, and I didn't know how I'd feel about their involvement together between.
I honestly don't know why they stream their stuff instead of making them pay-per-views like they used to.
Because it would cost more to.
Yeah.
I mean, I like paying $9.99 to get to watch everything. Yeah, it's better than
All right,
a $50 pay per view. Anyway, go ahead.
number 8 is another sibling on sibling.
Oh God.
One of the most shocking things that happened in the last 3 years, but Jey Uso was very close to beating Roman Reigns in SummerSlam until a hooded figure came out and kicked Jey Uso or pulled him out, pulled the referee out. What, he pulled the referee out before the three
Yeah.
count?
Yeah.
And it was shown. Oh, he
He
pulled
pulled
Jey
Uso
Uso when
out.
he was
Right, and when Jay got up off the ground, he gave the super kick.
Yeah, he looked at him
then
like,
he
"Why?"
kicked
And then he
him,
super kicked. Yeah.
and then it showed to be Jey Uso's brother, Jimmy Uso. And that obviously leading to a WrestleMania match that was very lackluster. And now doesn't even mean anything anymore because Jey Uso is going to be in the championship anyway.
Right.
But
Well,
I thought that was the time for Roman to lose. Until
And
I
it seems
realized
like Jay is getting over more as a singles wrestler than Jimmy is.
Oh,
yeah.
I feel like
They
they're
had the
working
name
on Jimmy right
Big
now,
Jim.
though. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, part of that's the machine, and part of it is that Jey Uso has charisma and hangs out with Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Uso is going to be going for the U.S. Championship, so maybe we'll have a situation where both of them will be champions at WrestleMania. and they'll hug each
Dude,
other.
imagine the Usos are champions and Roman Reigns has nothing. That's wild.
Yeah, he probably will lose the triple threat match.
Well, there's no title regardless, so
No, there is no title in that match.
that'll
But
be
they still
crazy
might
if they're.
try to figure out how to make it a main event.
Oh yeah,
Being
maybe.
honest, because between Tiffy and
A
Charlotte,
favor.
Jay and Gunther and those three, maybe.
And I really hope Tiffany
Favor.
beats Charlotte.
Maybe that CM Punk favor is going to be it, and Tiffy has to beat Charlotte. There's no
way that Tiffy can lose.
There's no way Tiffy can lose this. That would be an absolute horrible. That would be like Austin losing to Charlotte Flair. It would be horrible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Speaking of Charlotte Flair, Becky snapping against Charlotte and SummerSlam and going heel was number 7.
Okay.
Which is interesting. Number 6.
That wasn't even a heel run, though.
It really wasn't, but it was her just
it wasn't.
Yeah.
Which is interesting that they made that on the list, let alone top 10. Number 6 just happened a few months ago, but the New Day, Kofi and Xavier shunning out Big E.
Yeah.
Which I think was a very good one and belongs on this list.
Without physicality, too. That's pretty
difficult.
Yeah,
exactly. Just
do.
Literally just talking.
Yeah.
Right.
And they got getting that much heat to where there's still heat on them, and they're not even doing that much right now.
No, they're not. You don't see them on TV much.
Not much.
I mean, they're on TV every week, but they're not,
Well, like doing
not wrestling or anything.
Like wrestling? The freaking LWO.
Which I don't want to see them with LW no more. Number 5 is Dirty Dom being born.
Being born, baby.
No, but Dirty Dom emerging as the crappy heel, turning against his father Ray. That first heel turn.
He did it all for the nookie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was number 5. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Exactly. The top 4, you guys, I think you guys might know the top 4. I want to hear, Keith, you first. Who do you think? Name number 4.
Dude, honestly, I don't think any of the stuff that it seems like they're focusing a lot more on modern terms.
Yeah.
So, oh, man. Is it Stephanie?
It's definitely 4.
Is it Stephanie and Triple H?
No. That's not even on the list.
Which is turned on test is not even on the list.
Exactly, which is insane.
Wait, her turning on test
yeah.
Her turning on test is it on there?
That should be on that list, dude.
It should be.
That's insane. That was the shockingest.
Yes, I agree.
When it happened, yeah, but that's the thing. Yeah. It's they didn't have it on there. It's
So if I was doing a top 4, I mean,
you were doing a top 4 because I think these top 4 are unanimous. To be honest, considering
so they belong then.
They belong 100%.
Okay.
Top 4, everything else from 30 to 5 was like up for grabs.
Okay.
Ordorf is probably not on there, right?
No.
See?
That's what I'm
San
saying.
Martino and Larry Zbyszko.
There's
San Martino and Larry Zbyszko.
No.
See? I'm done. That's it, man.
Oh, good and
I mean, obviously, number 2 is Cena and Cody, and number 1 is the NWO.
Mention. What do you think the other 2?
3 is 4 is
Hogan and Andre.
Ooh.
No.
What?
Which is funny because I thought Andre.
Wait, did you say no?
Was really good. I thought Andre ripping his shirt and all that should have been on.
And you're bleeding.
Even the not the reaction, but
WWE.
what that did for the business should be why it's
and
on
obviously
there.
Rick Martel turning on Tito Santana at WrestleMania and becoming the model, which is historic, is not on there.
Yeah,
obviously.
No, not at all.
That was so good. Sold his face.
Just tell us the other 2.
Well, I think 4, maybe Kishi.
Did it for The Rock.
And
did it
3,
for The Rock.
No.
3 is definitely Seth Rollins.
Yes.
Okay. Is number 4 Naomi and Jade?
Oh no, not that recent.
No.
Number 4 is actually the one that happened. It's pretty well known, but it's a tag team breaking up. See if you can remember. See if you can remember a very it wasn't in the ring. It was a segment.
Oh, the freaking barbershop.
Yeah.
Oh, Shawn Michaels.
So Shawn Michaels throwing Marty Jannetty through the barbershop window is number 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
As Tyler aforementioned, number 3 is Rollins betraying the Shield in favor of the corporation Triple H.
Amazing.
Number 2 is Hulk Hogan turning and becoming NWO.
What? Number 2?
That's
Number
not
2.
dude.
Recency bias strikes again. And number 1 is John Cena and Travis Scott going heel with Cody Rhodes.
Fuck out
Don't
of
put
here,
Travis
dude.
Scott in there, man.
Well, he has to be in there because he was obviously in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he made
was
sure
very
that he
much
was
in
seen.
there.
You could not miss Travis Scott in that. He will forever be synonymous with Cody Rhodes. At this
He
point,
has
he
a
better do
freaking
John Cena's
t-shirt.
new theme song. At this
He has a
point,
free t-shirt.
does he actually?
So Cena's supposed
Oh
to
yeah,
be on
there's a
Raw
t-shirt.
tomorrow night.
On the back of it says "Wrestling is real," and on the front of it, it's got a black and white picture of him and The Rock and John Cena standing on Cody Rhodes.
I might need that shirt. That
Who
is.
got, wait, where's that shirt?
Is it
It's
WWE shirt?
it's actually he released it on his cat. I guess he has a clothing brand called Cactus Jack,
You know what we need to do?
which is odd.
What?
We need to come up with a top 20 list of, maybe top 50 list of best merch ever created.
You know, what about The Rock? What about when The Rock became the corporate champ?
Yeah, that's not on there.
They did that
Trust
whole
me,
freaking tournament for the belt.
Mm-hmm.
And Mankind was getting advantages the whole time because he was McMahon's chosen champion.
Mhm.
And then The Rock ends up winning the belt at the end because McMahon and The Rock screwed him.
Wait,
That was huge.
One of my
Steve.
what's up?
what about the one where Stephanie was involved and they found out that Vince was the one under the hood or whatever.
Oh, right, because he was leading the union. And then he was like,
Yeah,
it was me, Austin. It was me the whole time.
Yeah.
And then JR
I think everybody knew that
infamously-
Vince McMahon was a jackass, though. It wasn't as big of a surprise. I remember when Paul Orndorff freaking turned on Hulk Hogan. I got on my bike and rode around my neighborhood and knocked on everyone's door and was like Paul Orndorff. Just
I
I freaking told everyone in the
remember
neighborhood.
when that happened
You
too.
get so hyped
Yeah.
as a kid.
But that's
Yeah,
the thing.
I
That's
told
the thing
everybody.
that makes me think that these top 4 are the top 4 because those are moments that you were like, "Yo," like the John Cena thing. I've been telling everybody that could like people that don't watch wrestling are like, "Yo, John Cena just turned heel."
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
Like, I overheard.
Dude,
I
those top
overheard some
4
people. I was at a St. Patrick's Day weekend thing yesterday, and like some of my friends were talking about it too, and they don't even watch. And I all lit up. I was like, oh wait, let's talk about wrestling. Let's talk about wrestling.
What was number 4?
Number 4 was Shawn
Michael's Shawn and Marty.
Kennedy, yeah.
I still feel like Steph and Test should be on there somewhere.
I do too. I think Kishi should be on there too.
Yeah, I did it for The Rock. Like, that was huge.
But here's another thing, though, right? Daniel Bryan going heel on AJ Styles to win the championship. I thought that should have been.
Yeah.
That was an amazing moment, and it was for a championship.
Right.
I think.
I mean, if you think about it, though, Steph and Triple H, that started a whole freaking.
Yeah.
That started like a huge thing, not just for TV, but real life too. Like they started
talking about the best for business joint.
No, he's talking about when Test left.
Steph and Test. Yeah, I got
when Steph left Test. Yeah.
And
She was in the corner, all scared.
And he was holding up the sledgehammer, and
she
then
got
she
that
smiled
smirk,
at him.
that sexy ass smirk. Everyone's like, "Wait a second, what is happening here?"
Yeah, but I to be honest, I think that Mark Henry should have been higher.
Yeah,
I do too.
I think I don't know why Judgment Day wasn't on here.
Right.
Finn turning against Edge to replace him as the leader.
What about I have a question. Didn't DX have like an epic heel turn?
John turning against Triple H was a really big one when their match against John Cena.
Yeah.
Well, remember when they did the Jade Cargill thing with DX?
Yeah, where they were like, "Oh, we don't know
And,
who
and
attacked."
Shawn, and Triple H was like, "I finally found out who attacked you, Sean. It was me." And he freaking kicks him and pedigrees him.
Yeah,
Well, what
Yeah.
about
that
that was
was
the
that.
same thing Enzo and Kaz did, where
Yeah, yeah,
where
That
yeah.
was
Kaz was like, "It
that
was
was
me."
that was the match. That was right before the title match that was here that I went to it. I
Yeah.
believe it
And I
was
mean, it's
Taboo
not
Tuesday or
WWE,
some shit.
but Michael Hayes turning on Kerry Von Erich
Oh, I
and
remember that. I remember that.
costing him the the NWA World Championship by
Yep,
slamming
I remember
Tennessee
that.
Hayes. You know, Terry Gordy was actually the one who slammed him. You know, so I guess it was the
Yeah.
Freebirds turning on the Von Erichs, which
Yep.
started one of the most epic feuds of all time in
Oh
pro
yeah,
wrestling. Went on for
that
decades.
yep. That was the best
speaking
one of the
of
best feuds ever.
speaking of epic feuds, because this is not a conversation, it is a podcast.
Yee.
Indeed.
We are having an absolutely wonderful time talking about the lists, but we do have these results, and I have been waiting to rant for the last 72 hours.
So happy about so much of this stuff.
You're
Yeah.
so happy about it, Keith?
I'm so unhappy about. Dude, I think the only thing that I'm happy about is that freaking Opa and uh
Moose?
And Moose
Opa and
had a
Moose
good
tore
time.
it up. That was a
Really did.
great freaking match. I think
I haven't seen the show yet.
was so good.
But
Good match.
we'll talk about Revolution first, and then we can end with Roadblock because Revolution was before Roadblock, I believe.
Okay.
And one thing
Hopefully
I'll just quickly mention that Mercedes, she retained.
hopefully I
Hangman.
forget these
Keith
hopefully I
was
forget
right.
these results
Hangman won.
before.
That I Keith was right, and
Yeah, it
Hangman
was.
beat MJF.
Made no sense. Made
Yeah,
no sense.
not at all. But then again, we talked about the fact that hey, the thing that doesn't make sense
Is
is
what
going to
Tony
happen.
Khan does
Yeah.
Yes,
Bully Ray
most of
wasn't
the
very happy
time.
about it either.
yes, exactly. For example, as well, Swerve beat Ricochet,
That's
Weird.
good.
which yeah, and what we were talking about before is that it definitely should have been Hangman against MJF for the world #1 contenders match because then Swerve wouldn't have had to win.
Yep.
Right.
So that whole robe thing and that ovation for that robe,
Did
the
they get the
stuff.
roll back or does Ricochet still have it?
No,
Like,
Swerve gave it to Prince Nana, and it was a very big moment, and Nana danced with it and then draped Swerve with it as like a showing of respect. So it's Swerve's championship to win. But not to put the cart before the horse, but Okada beat Brody King.
Wow.
saw that.
Hurt Syndicate is unstoppable.
Yeah.
And you know,
They beat the Outrunners, right?
they beat
Yeah, of course they did. You were the only one who thought they were going to beat them.
Yeah. Well,
it's just
actually,
that it
I
would
was
have
the
been
only
nice.
one on the podcast, but there
Yeah.
were other people that were hoping they were going to beat him. But
Oh, sure. I hoped they would,
knew,
but I knew they weren't going to.
I knew they weren't
Speaking
going
of
to beat him
hopes,
either.
speaking of hopes, I hoped that Kenny Omega would win, and turns out he did.
He did.
So shout out to
he
new
did.
champion Kenny Omega. He deserves it. You know, he got a good ovation. Something that was also weird, the overly bloody steel cage match, which I believe Keith was referring to. Were you referring
No, I
to
was talking about the cage match on TNA.
Oh yeah, yeah. But you
Yeah.
didn't mention anything about this one because I thought this was an interesting one. But the fact that an off the cage Spanish fly didn't end the match was interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah, but
Very interesting.
yeah, because I remember you were talking about that 5-way match, which I didn't like it either. But
Yeah.
rant will start even before I get to the main event because why was Tony Storm against Mariah May not the main event?
Yeah.
You
Okay,
have
so
the
since I
single
didn't
great.
watch it,
You have
what
the
was
no
the
no
main
no
event?
no. You have the single greatest feud in AEW so far. There's no way that you cannot say that Timeless Tony Storm versus Mariah May is the best women's feud, not only, but the best AEW feud that they've done.
Yeah.
And it was organic, and they went out of their way. Tony Storm made Mariah May into a star Congratulations to Mariah May for a good run. And
what was the main?
The main event was John against Cope.
Oh yeah.
But the fact that the way John and Cope ended showed me that it definitely should not have been the main event.
No,
because the air went out.
I honestly think, and I haven't watched the damn pay-per-view yet, but I think Pablo's right. Tony and Mariah should have been the main.
There's no way you see the culmination of the longest feud. It's like a super long feud that they've been having.
And that's what I was just thinking too. Like, they've been building this thing forever. It had so many different dimensions to it. And the Cope and Moxley thing has literally just been set up over the last month or so.
They made it seem like, and this is regression, especially from how much these women have been working and how much they've been doing behind the scenes and the extremely bloody match that they had. Here's another thing. Why did we need so many bloody matches? Why did John and Cope have to be a bloody match?
Because it's John Moxley.
They're trying to sell it.
It's John Moxley.
But that's the thing. It's not special anymore when John Moxley bled. John Moxley bled on a Dynamite. He bled on a Collision.
Yeah.
He bled on his way to
Remember when
show.
blading was only supposed to be like necessary for big matches?
Yep.
Now you're just doing it on regular collisions?
You're talking about AEW here. Just remember that.
Yeah, and I guess it's just something that they just feel like they need to throw in. But
it's a crutch.
That was the first rant aside, because the second rant is that I've been talking about the opportunity of Christian Cage being able to cash in finally and being able to cash in on Cope.
Honestly, I thought Cope was gonna win and Christian was gonna cash in and beat Cope. That's what everybody
who had a brain thought.
Yeah.
Yes, and I was calling for it as soon as Christian won that contract.
Yeah.
Like, literally, the only reason why Edge and Christian are in AEW is because they need to at least one time have that championship each. And Tony Khan had the chance to give Cope the title and immediately take it away and make Christian versus Cope a very big match where the guys can have their swan song and they can do everything they need to do. They can get their spots off. They can go out in the sunset together, and then maybe like have their reconnecting along in the future, and then maybe be the tag champions one day, and then go off in the sunset, like I was saying.
You either have that match at Forbidden Door or at All in Texas. Actually, probably All in Texas.
Conspiracy theory here.
Even nuts.
All the ex-WWE guys, what if they're trying to ruin the company?
I seen that it was a tweet that you referenced, because I saw that tweet too, because they're saying that John Moxley and Edge have done nothing for the company, where they haven't let anybody go over. They haven't actually elevated anybody, even their own partners. They haven't elevated.
Why?
I mean, everybody calls John No Job Mox. And they've been doing it since before the beach.
Cope is the same way, though. Cope is the same way. He hasn't put anybody over.
Yeah.
He's been here and he's overshadowed FTR. Everybody he's faced, he's beaten.
Is that realistic, though? Like Triple H, Vince McMahon, I could see just because he's a dick. But Triple H, I think it's above. I think it's below them. Maybe. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. But this is the wild thing, right? The best for business, right? Even if you don't respect or don't like Christian in the ring, or if you don't like Edge in the ring, Cope in the ring, the best way to do it was written right there. It was just
any other way would
right,
work.
exactly. But then they make Christian look like an absolute goober,
dick,
moron. Yeah,
a moron, not even a dick, like a moron. They make him look like an absurd moron, and then he goes out and he's like, "Oh, I thought it would just be me against Cope. I thought if I did it, it would just be me against Cope after that." I was like, "How does that make sense? You know what a cash in is."
And what's that?
Back in Money in the Bank.
You know what?
Back when it was it was created.
What's sad is the fact that both I saw and I've heard that both Tony and Mox know that the belt needs to come off Mox because he's not.
Do they know that? Because I feel like if they knew that, they'd be doing it.
Well, I feel
yeah.
that too. So why haven't they taken the belt off Mox?
This is the thing. Part of me thinks is that because of the reaction that Swerve has been getting, that they forced him back into the main event picture, and that's why they made Ricochet versus Swerve the #1 contenders, because they see how good Swerve is right now. And
So you think Swerve's going to take the belt off him?
Yes. Let me finish when I speak, please.
Sorry.
But there's a lot there that they could have unpacked. They could have killed two birds with one stone, and now you've buried two legends that have no business in the company if they're not going to win the championship.
Yeah.
There's literally, you had the chance to give two reigns a start, and then Christian could lose it immediately to Swerve if you want to.
Yep.
Because of Edge or Cope or something else, but you have him cash in and then go for a pin on, or try to go for a pin on Edge or Cope, and then John just chokes him out right in front of him.
Stupid.
It wasn't a bad spot specifically because Christian was trying to crawl over to Edge to pin him, and then Moxley had that captain's hook submission on him.
Yeah.
But him just going out and them calling it, and then Mox just running out, and then Edge and Cope and K, I freaking hate his new name. Edge and Cage were just laid out in the ring together, looking like some losers. It just made WWE, maybe it was something against WWE that they just didn't like, but I thought it was the absolute stupidest thing in the history of AEW. And
I've heard that Tony Khan doesn't hold production meetings, which is very odd to me.
I could see how that could be a thing,
but not unbelievable.
Would tell me.
And the people booking is Tony, and from what I understand, who the people booking the company is Tony and Will Ospreay.
I don't think they're booking the guy. I think they're calling it in the ring.
Yeah. Also, it's RJ City and Tony Khan and I think one or two other people that have been the main writers, I suppose. RJ City was part of 0 Hour as well. And I could go on for days about how bad of a decision this was, but if it leads to Swerve being the champion, I guess they did what was best. But I thought it was
nonsense on the way, though.
It was an absolute horrible use of that brand new contract thing. So you're 0 for 1. You give somebody the first ever Money in the Bank equivalent, and the first person to do it is Cage, and he fails.
Yeah.
He held it for a year. He pretty much he was telling everybody, I'm the future champion. I have this, I have all the power, and then he loses it. You bury the patriarchy, and then Edge is floating in the ether. He's probably just going to fight Christian, but nobody wants to see Christian against Cope with nothing on the line.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah. And my thing is too, I feel like it wasted everything that they've been doing with Ricochet.
Yep.
It wasted everything they were doing with Ricochet. It wasted everything they did with Cope. It wasted everything they did with Christian.
Right. And if the eventual idea was to get the belt on Swerve, let Ricochet win this one.
Yeah.
I mean, why not? But it shouldn't have been the #1 contender. You could still finish out your story with Ricochet and Swerve while another story is going on.
Exactly.
If Ricochet wins this one and then they fight some more and Swerve eventually comes out on top, all that's going to do is make him hotter.
Yeah.
You don't need to give him the belt right freaking now.
See, that could be the argument too. Is it's it's a long game. You got to wait. It's I don't think there's a long game in that company.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't seem like there's a long game. It's a reaction.
And full disclosure for those that are watching or listening, we're not shitting on AEW just for the sake of it. They just
I hope they know
they have so much potential. They have so much potential.
We want to see them do well. We love the people that are in this company. We love Ricochet. We love Megan Bain. We love Tony Storm. We love
the criticism. The criticism isn't because we like WWE and we want them to fail. It's we want to watch good wrestling on all corners.
Yeah, or
Absolutely.
make sense, or at least do something with your talent.
Yeah.
Like
We
now you
want
have
we
Ricochet going for the Continental Classic Championship after losing the rights for it's the International Championship, but after losing them one contender match, so it's like you just have him going to something else. So it just didn't make sense. I don't know, but yeah, we're hoping for the best of this company because they got a lot of our favorite wrestlers on it, and I feel
I'm
like
just glad. I'm just glad that they have money because if they didn't have money, it would be over by now.
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
because
They have.
he's
They
like he
have a
must be
chance
going out of
still.
his pocket to keep them
Right.
afloat.
I'm glad that Tony loves wrestling as much as he does.
Right.
it would just be nice to see Tony make some smart or wise
He
decisions as
he
far as
needs
what's in the ring.
somebody. He
Yeah,
needs
and
somebody.
I always look at things as a writer first because that's
Right.
my career, and like,
Yeah.
and that's why I go hard for these. You build these people in the story just to Game of Thrones them at the end.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You
Now
know,
they see this is why I've said for however long he's been gone that Cody should have stated he should have been writer or he should have been writing, but the Tony wanted to take over more of the booking and he gave the Young Bucks the contract that Cody wanted.
Dude, there's no way that anyone could convince me that Cody Rhodes would be in a better spot right now if he had stayed in AEW.
No.
Probably
oh
right.
no,
You're
he
right.
He
I'm
made
not
best
saying
spot he can
that.
he
possibly
made the
be.
super. Well, you said he should have stayed. There's no way he should have stayed.
Well, in
He
AEW's case, if they kept him, if they did
They should
everything
have tried to keep
possible
him,
to keep him,
maybe. Yeah.
then
Yeah, they should have
AEW
tried
would
to
That
have been
keep
makes
him
sense.
better
instead of
off.
letting him go.
Right.
He
If
would
he
have
would
been
have
better off. That's
stayed
what they
and
were.
been on the show and that's it, then it would have just been what it is now.
Yeah.
He would have
Yeah.
been the best thing on the show probably.
Exactly. But
But
now that he left, he definitely would not have been where he is today in
Yeah.
AEW if he would have stayed.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that the best thing for AEW is they should have
Gotcha.
kept him.
I get what you're saying
But
now.
I'm my bad if I misspoke or if I misrepresented
Well,
what
the
I
way you
meant.
said it, you made it sound like Cody should have stayed in
Oh
AEW.
no! Oh
That's
And
no!
I'm
why
Oh
like,
I
no!
no,
corrected
there's no
because
freaking way.
No.
I
for
100%
understood
made
what I
great
AEW's
was getting.
sense.
sake, for
I
Yeah,
understood
you
what
AEW's
I was
sake, he
getting
should
when you
have.
said it. So
okay.
For AEW's sake, Cody should have stayed.
yeah,
Gotcha. Yeah.
I
Makes
meant there's
not for
no
Cody
way.
Rhodes' sake,
Right.
but for
Yeah. Now,
AEW's sake.
Exactly. That's what I meant. I'm sorry if I
oh,
misspoke
you're
or
good, dude.
whatever.
That's all
Hey,
right.
don't need to apologize.
Just misinterpretation, but it was
Yeah.
But yeah, that was all I wanted to mention about that specific one, and then hopefully they go through a better, they go to do something better with them. I don't know what Cope and Christian Cage
Did
are
you
going
guys
right now.
watch? Did you guys pay to watch it, or
No, I
I haven't
haven't.
watched it.
I was
I
gonna
the,
say, imagine paying to watch it and then seeing what you saw. That would, I'd be so
Well,
Oh
the
yeah.
happy.
It's like
wild thing
50
is
bucks,
that
right?
they were great matches.
Actually,
Tony
to
Storm
be
Mariah May
honest,
was a great match. They
That's what they do, though, is they do great matches, but the finishes
yeah.
suck ass.
Well, that's
Yeah.
the thing. It was before
I
that
paid
main
half,
event. If you scrubbed
but
that
I
main
haven't.
event, it would have been a great card.
Yes.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, that wasn't the only card this week.
No.
Nope.
Sacrifice. That was one thing I'll just mention real quick. TNA Sacrifice was a few days ago. It was Friday. This is Sunday, just to break the fourth wall, if we have any walls left.
Actually,
And
I had
as
today's
as
date
Keith
up.
mentioned, Ash and Heather by Elegance are new champions. They're tag
Yeah.
champions, which I was hoping for. First
Yeah.
Class also won their tag match, which I guess so.
Yeah. First class.
AJ Franchini.
Yep, and Casey Navarro. And they also announced that they have a new record company called First Class Records, which I'm not gonna try to get signed by them, but maybe
Yeah,
they're
me
gonna.
either.
AJ Franchini will probably be dropping his next hit on there.
Yep.
Yeah, a little bit. He doesn't hit well
I
in the
want.
ring. Maybe he'll hit on the mic.
I want to see AJ Franchini in our Truth battle rap.
No,
Yeah.
you don't. No, you
I
don't.
want to see Truth go back to TNA and be champion.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm being honest, I want him to go down to NXT and just goof around with the NXT guys, to be the old,
And
the old
accidentally win a world championship
Yeah.
match.
exactly. Just be the champion. Just why not? Just be fun.
Yeah.
Right.
Otherwise, just skimming through, Mance Warner beat Sammy Callahan in the street fight.
Right.
Shout out to Mance Warner. He's doing his thing. Tessa Blanchard beat Yaling Yi, which I pronounced correctly.
Well, I figured that when I found out about it.
Exactly. And there was
Hey,
a
should Tessa
shout out
Blanchard
to all
really
the
be
people
wrestling?
chanting racist still.
Yeah, should Tessa Blanchard be wrestling any person of color at this point, though?
No.
Might have been a
Oh,
bad idea.
and now she has a gimmick, or not, I don't know a gimmick, but she's wearing like a
She's a
bandana.
Boricua now? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was interesting to
What's up
see
with
that.
that shit?
I know. I don't know what they're going at, but
She wants to tag with Tasha Steeles. She's
the
like, come
diamond
on,
in the
Tasha.
rough, yeah.
Me and
Tasha
you.
Steeles is a part of with Mustafa Ali
Yeah,
apparently,
she
because
is. Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
she's with his crew.
The Rascals look like they ended their feud with Wesley because they beat Wesley's little faction of NXT stars,
Yeah.
which was not the only time that a TNA talent went over on an NXT talent on this card.
Nope.
Or
So,
this week.
or this week, I mean, yeah, because we'll talk about that next. Frankie Kazarian beat Steve Macklin beat Frankie Kazarian, which yeah, they're 1-1 against each other now.
Yeah.
And otherwise that 5-person match at the end that we had
You
mentioned.
missed Masha and Cora.
Oh yeah, no, I'll get to that one as well.
Okay.
It was just in the order of what I'm reading right now.
Okay.
Mustafa Ali beat Mike Santana and is looks pretty good. I do like Cora Jade. I think she had a good showing with Masha Slamovich, and
Yeah.
shout out. That's where a TNA champion beat an NXT star, and it still looked pretty good, you know.
Yeah.
I was
I don't
confused.
get the Mustafa Ali. Is he trying to like recruit Mike Santana?
No, he's trying to
It looks like
embarrass him by bringing up his alcohol thing.
yeah,
Well, yeah,
he
but I
left a
think
beer. He left a beer in the
And
ring after he beat him. So I guess
yeah,
he's
Matt, my
going that
apparently Mike. My
they're
bad.
going
Go ahead.
that Samoa Joe Jeff Hardy outlet, or that gimmick where one person goes against the other for their lifestyle choices.
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay.
So I guess Mustafa presented it or opened or brought a bottle of champagne in the ring, and then before the match, and then after the match, Mike was sitting in the ring, and he said uh, a bottle of beer or a glass of beer down next to him.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I know that he's been playing up on the whole fact that he's like in AA and stuff, which is pretty super cringe.
Yeah,
And then
that's
he,
what I was gonna
yeah,
mention that. I was like, I don't like the fact that they're attacking
I mean, I
guys'
think
lifestyles. Like,
yeah,
I think I mean I remember I don't know if you guys watch it, but I remember watching Tales of the Territory when they were talking about Memphis. Jerry and Jimmy Hart were talking about real life stuff brings the most heat and draws the most
yeah,
money.
Mm-hmm.
oh
But
yeah,
I also,
look at a lot of these promos where they're talking
Yep.
about
yeah,
people's lives, or they're talking about like,
yeah,
yeah,
you know,
but
Karen and being a 304 as they say, or
but I
you
also
know,
think
Lita.
but I
yeah,
also think that there are certain things that people do, like leaving the beer in the ring, that kind of pushes the envelope, and sometimes I think they go too far.
right.
Mhm.
Well, I think so. I think the worst thing was of this whole deal was when he showed up at his AA meeting.
Oh yeah,
That was
I thought that was
crazy.
horrible, dude.
That was crazy. But I thought that he was trying to like break Santana down because I think his deal is supposed to be that he's some kind of leader or savior or something. So
Yeah,
that he could eventually like
I could see that. I could
I
see
thought he
what
was trying to
you're
show
thinking.
Santana that he needed him,
yeah.
basically. Like, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
I mean, I just started watching, so again because I got the channel back, so
Yeah,
I'm still trying to get my bearings as far as what's going on as far as storylines go. But
right.
I think the whole alcoholism thing. If you want to play on real life If you want to play out real life storylines or whatever, that's one thing. But like I said, I think doing certain things pushes the envelope.
Yeah.
That's all right. Yeah, like speaking of Jeff Hardy, Jeff Hardy fought Moose in a ladder match, and
Yeah.
Moose beat Jeff Hardy. So
Yeah.
mhm, it's Chad is definitely missing out because TNA is fun.
Nah, I'm
And
saying,
Alicia Edwards actually did get involved in that match. So
Yeah, she did. She ended up hitting him with a kendo stick
yes.
because a ladder match is no DQ. So we all knew that was going
I
to happen
mean,
to
I
make
don't
Jeff
get.
Hardy not look as bad, and then
Speaking of
spear
speaking
through
of
the
teeny
table.
tiny cuties,
Yes, Alicia's a cutie.
I
Cutie
mean,
patootie, and I like the booty.
indeed.
And then we mentioned the five-way match of random faces against heels.
Wasn't a good match.
No, it was
The finish was good. I like the twist of fate and with the chair around the neck. That was pretty dope.
but
I
we
liked
also
the
saw
turn
that
at the end.
already.
Yeah, it still looked cool.
now Keith, when you pay for the TNA Plus, do you
Yeah,
get the streaming events? How much do you
yeah,
have to?
yeah.
Do you have to pay for the streaming event as well?
I thought you did, but you don't. So
Speaking of
yeah,
the
it's $9.99 a month.
Here's the thing I don't like about that, right? Speaking
Yeah,
of the twist of fate with the chair wrapped around his neck,
yeah.
who else did that this week?
Did someone else do that this week?
Javon Evans.
Oh, to
That exact spot he did
right,
beat Ethan Page this week.
right. He did do that.
It was a cutter where he wrapped it around,
Yeah,
and it was executed perfectly. It
yeah, yeah,
looked it looked
yeah,
really, really devastating, and it
yeah,
was shout out
yeah,
Javon Evans. Both of
yeah,
them executed it very well.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
it was a weird 5v5. I feel like they just
Right.
wanted to get involvement. And then also it led to Ryan and Nick Nemeth attacking Matt. So it looks like there's going to be a tag match between the Hardys and the Nemeths.
Yeah, yeah.
So which
Which,
for
which
two
I think
brothers.
it's super funny because there was no roof on the cage, but
Mhm.
for whatever reason, no one could climb it. They were like, the
Except
commentators
Leon
kept
just to jump
I'm
on
emphasizing,
it.
trying to
they
figure out
can't
what the
get the
deal is
cage,
with
they can't
that,
get
dude.
the cage. But yeah, no one could climb the cage to get
I
it
didn't
out.
watch it, but I heard it. I heard that there was no roof on it, yet nobody could climb it. And I was wondering what the deal was with that.
Apparently, you just can't climb cages. Like it's not
It's
possible.
just like in a tag team match. As soon as the crowd goes wild, both of them drop and they can't walk all of a sudden.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
At
you
that
can't
point,
climb
just
the
make it a
cage.
hell in a cell if you're not going to have anybody try to
Yeah.
escape.
Right,
Same thing with
right.
the steel
Or
cage match on Raw. That
yeah,
really
I was
steel
just about to
cage match
mention that.
between Punk and Rollins.
Yep.
Yeah,
Same thing
but
as like nobody was trying to
yeah,
climb. I guess
even
because
though
they
you
didn't
could kind
want.
of see,
They
even
wanted
though
the
you could kind of see the turn coming, um,
Oh yeah.
because they've been messing with Ryan a lot, and you knew that Nick and Ryan were not going to like break up, and
Mhm.
you could sort of see it coming. It was still cool
At least not
the way
yet.
they
I
did
think
it, but
I think they'll get the championships, and then Ryan will do something to mess him up, and then Nick might end up kicking him, or maybe
yeah,
JBL picks one over the other, and they do their thing that way. So maybe
yeah, could be.
shout out to them. I do want to mention real quick. I'll
Where,
mention Roadblock, and then I think we can probably
yeah.
call it because
Where does Joe Hendry go from here?
That's a
that's
great
the interesting
question.
thing about it. So it seems like
Hopefully away.
because they fought in this 5-on-5, you would think that one of the people in that would be his next opponent.
Right, but he wasn't even
No.
the focus. He wasn't even the focus of the match.
Exactly. That's the thing.
Yeah,
It was Matt Hardy's involvement and like
yeah,
Nick Nemeth kind of turning heel, even though
right,
he
right.
he was a face for just a little bit.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was the fact that Joe Hendry, maybe it'll be Elijah.
maybe. Well, because with Nick
Hmm.
Nemeth on the picture,
Exactly. So
who's
Elijah's a
who's
wrestled?
heel all
number
the way
one?
He
through,
already
but
beat the greatest heel in TNA, AJ Franchini.
Uh,
So,
this man
I
is.
mean, who else
And
is
I don't
there?
think it's Moose. I don't think Moose goes from losing the
Yeah,
TNA or the NXT World Championship opportunity to fighting Hendry. But if we're thinking about it, and TNA does have great wrestlers, but again, they do not have
Anderson's gone.
exactly. They do not have a
Right.
great main event. He already beat Jake something.
Right. Right.
It's well,
They
let's
don't
see.
have good bookers, so who
Is it,
knows?
is it Kurt Hawkins? Is Kurt Hawkins Brian Myers? Is he
Ah,
there?
there you go.
No, he is. He's not even the most. I think Eddie Edwards was the most.
I mean, dude was
Yeah.
0 200 in
on the
WWE.
side, which is weird
Maybe
because it was such a mismatch.
maybe they're building Mustafa Ali.
I feel like
That
he's
could take
still
some
going to be
time.
doing his thing when Santana, and I'd
Santana.
love to
Yeah, that's
see.
what I
I'd
mean.
love to
Like
see
there's
Hendry versus Ali, and I have a feeling that Ali might go after the X Division Championship because of how much he talks about the X Division Championship, even when he had it.
right. Yeah, so
But
who knows? I don't know where Hendry goes. I'm just trying to think.
yeah,
Like
well,
there's nothing.
Away?
no, he's not going to go. Man. I have a
Until
feeling. I
Hendry's
have a
so
feeling.
good. Like
Hendry is not good at all. I've seen him in two shows, and I'm sorry, I don't believe.
Not liking
Ladies and
somebody and
gentlemen,
not
that is
good is
the
two different
opinion
things.
of Chad. That is
Yeah,
his opinions are his alone,
And not
as
and
well
not
as
those of the
mine are mine
people on
alone.
this
Keith are Keith's
podcast.
alone. But there's a reason.
I don't like him and he's not good are two different things.
Mhm.
yeah.
Exactly.
Make sure that you do like a shot of all of us because I think my
I sent
reaction to that needs to be seen by
Oh no,
people.
it was on the screen when you did it, so we're good.
No, I did see the
Nice.
bubble on you. I was like, yeah, I was,
Everybody was talking at once and laughing and stuff, but Zoom knew what to do.
Zoom,
Thank you.
Zoom knew its role.
Yeah.
that's
Man.
wild. So speaking that we did preface, we did mention during sacrifice the
Yep.
the roadblock. Let's go through that a bit, and then we'll sign off, and then I'll start talking about figuring out brand new things to talk about for next week. But the
Heck yeah.
lovely thing about NXT PLEs is that one, you don't actually have to PLE. You don't have to pay for it. I watched it at the
Yeah.
gym, and I had
Yeah.
one of the trainers put it on one of the big TVs,
Heck yeah.
which it was a weird situation when I was on the elliptical and there was a girl behind me on the treadmill, and Stephanie Vicaire was doing her
Nice.
her setup, that move
Yeah.
that everybody loves so much, and I was
That's
just
where
like,
you have to turn. That's where you have to turn around and say, "This is not why I watch." By the way,
I was like, wait, what? Oh,
this
I
is
didn't
not
do
why I
anything. I'm
signed up
looking
for
at
the
my
gym.
phone. I promise. I'm looking at my phone.
Suck
Oh,
it.
that's my key fob in my pocket. What do you mean? But it's beautiful. Yeah, the nice thing about it is that it's 5 matches and
Yeah.
they get to it. It's a good pace. Even my friend was watching it. It was funny because I was out at happy hour with a friend, and I was like, I got to go to the gym and watch this. And he was like, I'm gonna go home and watch it too. I just want to see the Hardys match, and the Hardys were the first match, and he just caught the end. And he was like, I saw Swanton Bomb. I'm happy. But then he had
I
never
saw
seen
a Swanton
WWE.
Bomb. I'm not happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we will mention that as well. And I think let's go in order of the matches because I know that Keith has something to say because I have something to say about it too. But Roadblock's first match was the greatest tag team ever, some people say, against the
Nope.
current greatest tag team of 2024, and if they continue, 2025, which, by the way, one of these wrestlers who's from Spain, I just found out, just had a banger of a match against the world heavyweight champion.
That's
It's a shout out to Axiom, who's
yeah,
from
man.
who's from Spain, who
Yeah.
fought against Gunther in a showcase match and was very, very convincing considering how much smaller he is.
Side steppers, yeah.
Yes. So Fraxium against the Hardys on an NXT. It's an
But TNA tag
NXT
titles.
brand for the TNA tag titles. So champions versus champions for the NXT championship. This is only the first of two of that ilk.
So
And the TNA champions go over clean on the upstart longtime NXT champions Fraxium. Keith, you want to talk about how you feel about the best tag team in the division being bested by some oldies?
Yeah, that's exactly. I mean,
Mhm.
you can't even call them the best tag team currently now because they lost
They lost.
clean to the freaking Hardys. It's just everything. They had a chance, like, to do something special. First of all,
Mhm.
winning the freaking TNA tag titles on an NXT show would have been insane.
Yeah, and I
Second
think
of
it has
all,
to happen at least once.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Why not now? And second of
Exactly.
all, building Fraxium the way that they have,
Mhm.
showing their struggles, and then showing them finally coming together as a cohesive unit and really stepping it up and having each other's backs.
Mhm.
And then they lose to the Hardys. Just doesn't make sense to me. And I get the nostalgia. Like, I actually talked to some people and I was like, dude, there's no way the Hardys should have won that match. And then they were like, there's no way the Hardys should have lost. And I'm just like,
Well, considering it was for the TNA belts, I knew that they weren't going to do it this early.
yeah,
I feel like down the line,
it wouldn't make
somebody's going to
sense.
win. Maybe like the North American Championship will go to a Eddie Edwards, or maybe it'll go to a Frankie Kazarian, or maybe like find a way to make it relevant or to
Maybe,
interesting.
maybe,
yeah. And I'm sure that it was staged, but whoever's idea it was to freaking post that picture,
Oh yeah,
maybe what they'll do is they'll
so
have
humiliating, so stupid.
if everybody
Like, just,
believes in Joe Hendry, maybe what they'll do is they'll have Joe Hendry have the TNA strap and like have him be a NXT some sort of NXT champ simultaneously.
that'd
I
be
think it
cool.
would be cool, but I don't think he should beat Oba.
Yeah.
Oh
To be
no, he
honest,
should beat Oba.
it would
But
depend. It
yeah,
would depend. But that's the
this
thing about
thing,
it. It has to be a good matchup. It has to be one that makes sense.
Like
And
who?
kind of,
Like for instance, I don't. Everybody knows or should know. I don't know much about NXT. They have several singles belts. Like who's the North American champion? Would that be a good match? Hendry versus the North American champion?
Sean Spears,
no.
I mean, he'd
No,
kick his ass.
probably not.
But also, it wouldn't make sense for the main title holder to get a mid card title into
Yeah.
another company.
Yeah.
But if I could just finish, like, I think that the whole setup for this match has been stupid. Like, if you were gonna say the greatest tag team against the current greatest tag team, you should be setting it up for the current greatest tag team to win.
But
Not,
that's what they're doing
I hope so. I hope,
because Stand and Deliver being TNA's or NXT's biggest and it being WrestleMania weekend, I
yeah,
imagine that there's going to be a title opportunity,
Well,
NXT championship
I
match between
heard
Hardys and Fraxium will win it this time.
right.
And I
I
think that
heard
makes
that
sense.
I heard the Hardys say that they were going to WrestleMania, so
Yeah.
they
Hopefully
said
they're
that they're
not going to
WrestleMania bound.
WrestleMania and wrestle.
Well, it would make sense that they would go to WrestleMania, but first they would do the stand and deliver thing, and then maybe they'll make a guest appearance
Appearance, yeah,
in some way in
or a
WrestleMania
run
night
in.
one. But it doesn't have to be. Maybe they'll be like the sixth, but then it'll be kind of corny because the year the New Day hosted, they were the Hardys were the like the mystery tag team and they won the championships that night.
Yeah,
Right, I remember that.
What if they
I
But
did
now
remember
they
that
this?
too.
do that again.
What if they did this? The New Day is attacking somebody, and they come in and help save them and get
That
a
would
bunch
be
of
a really
babyface
nice
people.
way to get New Day against the Hardys,
There
and
you
I
go.
would love if New Day won the TNA tag team championships.
Be cool. Yeah.
Tell me,
My
tell me
goodness,
about it, and
because
then go to WWE with them.
oh, that'd
Yeah.
be beautiful. Also, like full circle moment because Consequences Creed was Xavier Woods, if you guys didn't know. But
All
Yep,
right.
I knew that
yeah, it's
because he used to work for me.
and our
Only in
truth used
America.
to be a tag team with Xavier Woods, then
Yeah.
Consequences Creed. So maybe it would be nice for the New Day to because what else have they not done?
Right.
they went back down and won and faced for the NXT championships.
And they won them, did they?
I believe, did they win the NXT tag team championships when they went back down?
Can't
They
remember.
went down.
I thought they did.
I think they did that to big up one of the teams, and because back then, like Finn Balor did it, Becky Lynch did it, like Charlotte Flair did it, where they went down and won the championships, but and, like Dolph Ziggler did it, but I don't think it happened that moment. But speaking of people going down,
Yeah.
Roxanne Perez, I guess maybe they just wanted her to go out strong and fight Jordan Grace because she's legitimately a main roster talent now.
Yeah.
So Roxanne Perez against Jordan Grace, pretty good match. Jordan
Yeah.
Grace won, and because Roxanne Perez won the first time when they were both champions, now neither are champions.
Yeah.
So I think the Juggernaut winning made sense because it's going to lead for her against Vaquer on its Stand and Deliver, and that's going to be an absolutely amazing match.
Yeah.
And the two Nigerian monsters, Obafemi versus Moose, that match again. One of my friends, shout out to my friend Zach, who's getting back into wrestling. He doesn't watch NXT, but he heard that Hardys were going to be on it, so he gave the whole card a chance, and we were talking through it the entire time.
Nice.
And he was like, "This guy Moose actually out wrestled Oba.
Yeah,
Wow.
for sure.
This was the
He's
best."
better. I mean,
Yeah, he's
honestly,
longer
Moose in
tenure.
the ring, Moose is better at this point. He just is. Like,
Yeah, and the
I've been
fact
wrestling
that,
a long
like I
time.
mentioned before, the fact that he was the smaller guy and actually worked well that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I felt like it was a good match, and yeah, Oba retains by beating Moose, which I think we all knew as soon as we heard that it was not going to be a title for title.
Right. Right.
And yeah, congratulations to them. Another match I thought this match should have been the opener, but I think they just were searching for that spot, like I told you about the cutter onto the chair. But the New York Street fight between Ethan Page and Devon Evans, I thought it was good. I still think that Javon is a bit he has a bit too much pep in his step, a bit too much hop
Yeah.
because he almost overdoes things to where it's like it's hard to be believable. If that makes sense. But
Yeah. I have the same problems. So,
yeah, but it was a good match, and hopefully the culmination because these guys have had their little feud for a bit, and hopefully this means that one of them goes after, well, Sean Spears. I imagine it's going to be maybe Javon Evans goes after Sean Spears.
sure. Sure.
Because at some point you got to give the
They've
blue
got a
chip.
name now, right? The Culling? Is that what they're called?
Yeah, they had a vignette or a visionette about being
Vignettes?
called the culling.
The
Yes.
Culling. Yeah.
And I think they did that during what was it? During Roadblock, actually. They
Yeah,
did
they
that.
did. Yeah. Yeah.
They called themselves the culling, but we already knew that because they had called for the trademark, the culling.
I didn't pay attention to that stuff.
I had heard about that a bit ago, and they got the trademark for it. So, which I don't mind. People Google what the culling means if you
Yeah.
want to know. And then the main event, which kind of seemed obvious, but my gimmick is that I'm actually a WWE writer, which is why I have, which is why I pretty much know these things before they happen. But Vaquer defeated Julia to become double champion, which I'm not against. It's an NXT thing, double champions. I think, Carmelo Hayes did it, Keith Lee did it, and who was the last person to do it? To hold both. Because I don't think it was Keith Lee, was it?
Really?
But in NXT, I don't know.
Yeah, last double champ.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind the whole double champ thing, but how you give one to somebody or who's going to take it from her, who
Yeah,
knows?
how's Fallon going to get her belt back? Gotta figure that out.
How's Gigi going to get the tag titles if there
How's
aren't any?
she going to get on TV again?
Well, she was on TNA
Oh, cool.
in shorts.
Hey, there you go.
I have to
Bring
check out
back the
that
booty.
segment. I have to
Bring
watch
it
that
back to
segment.
booty. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. Free the
Yeah.
booty. Hashtag free booty.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought this
So,
was a pretty good. It was a pretty good 5-match card. Everybody got enough time to get their stuff in.
Yep.
It was a good showing for the TNA talent. The
Yeah.
same way the NXT talent on Sacrifice was pretty good.
Yeah.
They did their thing, and I expect much more involvement between the two in Stand and Deliver, and maybe even
When they said
fractionally
they
winning the
deliver,
TNA tag titles.
Yeah. So
when
so I watched. I'm hoping that a lot of people are watching Evolve. It's on Tubi. Everybody
I
has
haven't
Tubi.
watched it yet, but I did find it.
The main event this week was Riley Osborne and Norm Dar. Is that how you say his name?
Noam
No
Dar
am Dar,
What? How is it?
from
no
Metaphor.
am.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's still around. I remember that dude.
Exactly. Exactly. Like
I
It's
remember that dude.
it
developmental
looks
for the
like
developmental, and that people just going down. It's interesting, but
yeah, it looks like the people who they don't necessarily have room for to
like
feature
Wendy
on
Choo and them,
NXT
yeah.
I mean,
are
no
coming
am
down
Dar was
to Evolve. So we'll probably be seeing Thea Hale down there at
no
some
am
point.
Dar was on the main roster like mad long ago, crazy
Yeah.
long ago. He was on the main roster when Jack Gallagher was on the main roster.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Noam Dar was on the main roster a while ago, but he hasn't sniffed it. And
Right.
to be
Right.
honest, it doesn't
I
really
just
have.
thought it was interesting that like Riley Osborne and Noam Dar were the main event. They're setting up Crucifino
Mhm.
and I can't. Some guy who apparently got a bad reputation when he was in NXT. Can't think of
By the way,
who
Keith,
he's.
they were telling me about the NXT seasons on Tubi.
Oh, I got you, man. But they're setting that up as the main event for next week. Um, so it's just
And
interesting,
they
like the mix of talent that they've got going on down there.
and
Kylie
they,
Ray Russell
and they drop a new episode like every Wednesday,
every
right?
Wednesday at 1 o'clock, yeah. But then
Cool.
it's also on demand if you miss it. So
All right.
And check for us because we have new episodes every week as well.
we
Yeah,
do
we
indeed.
do.
Yes,
Yeah,
and shout
yeah,
out to Tyler for getting them out when he does, and I feel like we have good quality videos and plenty of content, and there's plenty more coming.
Coming.
So, like we
yes,
said
sir.
at the beginning, check us out on Patreon and Spotify and YouTube and on your mom's phone and your dad's
Yeah,
Maybe on your dad's phone too.
Brother,
dude,
your sister.
your dad better be watching us.
For
Yes.
real.
We're a big hit with the single dads.
We are. But yeah, this is been a
Yeah.
good
Got that.
conversation. Oh,
Yeah.
Natty Neidhart's book. We didn't talk about how the Natty Neidhart has a book coming out.
Who?
Read a book?
Natty Neidhart.
Oh, Daddy got
Oh
a book.
yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Also
no,
want to
Natalia
mention that
Neidhart announced this week that she was going to have a book coming out. It's for pre-sale right now.
yeah,
Uh,
shout out to her.
yeah.
Also wanted to mention that the most used tag team in NXT, Lash Legend and Jakar Jackson, they are the ones that are going to be trying to take the championships from Ash and Heather by Elegance.
Interesting.
Yeah, so
That
that's
is
the new feud
interesting.
coming up. So
Okay.
interesting because that's a team of bigger women against smaller women.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
They'll legitimize.
Ash is,
She used to be like a bodybuilder when she
yeah,
was Dana
yeah,
Brooke, yeah.
yeah.
And yeah, I think it was a good few cards this week,
Yeah.
and I do like where things are going for WrestleMania weekend, and hopefully we are going to see more of the card developing. But I think maybe next week we'll talk about what's on the card already or what we think the card is going to be.
Dude,
And
if they do a triple threat, I hope that Io Sky stacks both of those chicks on top of each other and hits him with the over the moonsault and wins the freaking match.
but
I
it's
think
100% going to be a triple threat. There's no way it's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also think that it's
Well, if
possible that
that's what they're doing, that's what I hope happens.
get off the
Tired of people disrespecting Io
So
Sky.
So Keith, I actually wanted to talk to you about this. Should we do an
Yeah, what's up?
after-hour segment and put it on the Patreon? We could talk about this.
Whatever. Yeah, what do you want to talk about?
Um, I have a little bit of a rebuttal with the Io Sky's disrespect because I do believe that they are doing that
Okay. Yeah, we
indirectly.
can talk.
All right, but the rebuttal is the additional disrespect on Raw. How you took it, I feel that maybe you may have taken it wrong.
Dude, okay, we can talk about it, man. I don't think I did.
Okay,
I'm
so what
down
I
because
think
I think I know where Tyler's going with this.
So what I
Yeah.
Yeah.
think is they're leaning into the fact that people do feel this way.
Mm.
So they disrespected her so she could get her comeuppance by slapping him in the face and saying, "No, I'm the champion."
But the
I
slap
think
wasn't
that's
enough, dude. She got mushed like a little kid, and then she
right.
reacted like
They
she was
had
having
to
a
do
temper
that.
tantrum.
She had no reason to slap him if that didn't happen, though. Why would you slap
Right,
him
but
for no
what I'm
reason?
saying is she should have done more than slap him.
I
She
agree, but
reacted
they're
like,
friends.
I don't care, dude.
I,
She got
I
mushed
don't.
in the face.
Well, here's the
I
weird
mean, it's
thing,
gonna
right?
end up that way.
I
Here's the
mean,
weird thing.
Slow build, man. Slow build.
No, because I'll talk. I'll speak a little bit on what Tyler said. I agree to an extent about what he's saying because them mushing her and showing that they don't respect is them saying, "Yeah, we're bigger than you."
And
And
she's
yeah.
like,
to
"No,
be honest,
bitch.
we already
I
had
got the
something
title."
going.
Yeah.
But who is the heel?
That's the question, man.
Exactly. So I think what they're doing is that they want to show that maybe Bianca and Rhea are the heels in this situation.
In this situation, yeah, they kind of are. They pushed
Yeah,
her off
because
to the
yeah,
side.
the mush, it was very disrespectful because it was
Yeah.
very intentional too because you just
Yeah,
shown it, and yeah,
it it happened
they've
once.
been disrespecting people that don't speak English as their first language
Yeah.
all the time,
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
that explosion of hey, I'm tired of being cast aside
yeah.
when I'm the one
It was a
that is the
perfect.
champion and going into it as the champion, which made me, and I said this before Io became champion, it's made me know that that was the only way they could have made it a triple.
Yeah,
Okay, so I think
Mhm.
she should have smacked him in the face with the belt.
But then
That
that
would
would
have
have
been
made
cool.
her, that would have kind of made her a heel. And
Who
I don't
cares?
yeah,
think they want to do that. I think they want to keep her as the
yeah.
face.
I,
It's
Because
like, hey,
but she
hey,
looks like a
respect.
weak face. That's my thing. Like, I
I don't.
still feel like just a smack
If she
makes
comes
her look
out,
weak.
she's gonna come. So what I think is gonna happen, long game wise,
Yeah.
is she's gonna win the match, and those two are gonna end up facing each other down the road because they
Backlash and all
costed
that.
each other this championship match.
But I don't.
Yeah, and I
So
think
I would
it'll
honestly much
facilitate.
rather just see her work with Bianca and have her out wrestle Bianca.
I
I
mean, that's
just
It'll
gonna
want.
happen
facilitate
regardless.
the Rhea heel, and it'll make it so it's drawn out a bit.
Yeah.
Imagine this though. Those two have a gripe with her now because she slapped them both. So they both gain up on her. She still out wrestles both of them trying to get her at
Well,
once.
here's hoping she does.
Yeah, I
I hope
guarantee
she
you
does
she's gonna
too.
win.
I mean, I feel like it. I mean, this goes back to like when Damage Control was on their losing streak,
Hmm.
and then they had that match with the Metaphor when the one member of the Metaphor got lost. I think it was Last
Yeah,
Legend, and she just struck Io Sky on the ground on her face.
yeah.
You
Well, I
know,
think that's the thing though is they're
I
leaning
mean,
into
Yeah,
they understand that this is a problem and
maybe
they're
they'll bring
fixing
it
it.
full circle. I
They're
think
fixing it
that they
on
might bring
screen.
it full circle where next week maybe or tonight technically
yeah.
on Monday that they'll talk about the fact that like maybe even Asuka or somebody will come up in WrestleMania, but like Dakota Kai may talk for Io Sky and be like, we've been disrespected for the longest time,
Yeah,
and we're tired of it. We are, Io's a two-time champion now, and she hasn't been given the respect she deserves because she's
yeah.
small, or she doesn't speak English as a first language, and like this was a necessary thing, and like I think the crowd got behind her a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, because
And I think that was
I just thought
necessary
her
because there
reaction
was
to it
no
could have been
reason to take
stronger.
EO. There was no reason to take EO with with seriousness when you're in the ring with two of the most physically menacing wrestlers since China.
Yeah, yeah,
right. Well, it's one of those things like with Cody. People have been wanting Cody to say "go fuck yourself" all year. She did it. They did this to her, and she said "go fuck yourself" immediately. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So
Yeah,
that
and
makes
yeah.
her look
and she was
stronger in the sense
Japanese,
that
and
she got her comeuppance immediately. She didn't
Yeah.
sit back and say, "Well, last week you slapped me." She's like, "No, I'm going to fix this right now."
I mean, that's fair, but
Yeah,
like I said, I
I
think it's
know what
either
you mean
more than
though.
a slap. I think that her reaction, you know, I'm gonna slap the end. I just think it.
Well, that's just how she is, though. I feel like.
Right, and that's just right. I get it. Like she's not going to become a
Yeah.
whole new character overnight, but I
Right.
just feel like she's so good,
Yeah.
and I just hate it. I hate that. I feel like it's the Ricochet thing,
Yeah.
but she's not going to go to the extreme that Ricochet did,
Yeah.
But it's the Ricochet thing. Like they're basically calling Io Sky a little nothing. Like I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, but it's playing off of what they feel like because
yeah,
yeah, like people
It's
to the untrained eye, they look at
yeah.
EO and they're like, "Oh, who's the sore thumb in this?" And
yeah,
even after the Bianca Belair, when she went over and looked at Rhea, the way
Yeah.
she was looking at Rhea and EO was in the background, where the people are like, "Oh, it's like a foregone conclusion that it's Rhea versus Bianca," and
right,
EO looking around, being like, "Hey, remember." I'm still going for your championship too, so
Yeah.
don't look past me.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah,
Rhea
This is all about
literally
her
was looking
anyway.
past her.
yeah,
This is all
And I
about
think
her anyway because she won the title and
Mhm.
made it about her.
right,
Also something that was lost, Rhea cannot beat Io.
right, yeah.
She's 0-4, I think.
Yeah. And for Rhea to say to Bianca, like you were cheering for Io because you didn't want
She
to
was cheering
wrestle
for both
me.
of them.
So
Was
right,
a
she
really
was.
big
Yeah.
that was
But
that
that
was
was
a
just
literal
insult.
that
Yeah.
was a vocal slap to the face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100.
Yeah.
Because she was like, "Oh, it's like you were." It's kind of like in the playoffs. Oh, you're glad that Washington beat the Lions
It's
because
like
you
a
didn't want to face Detroit. And I'm like, no,
Exactly.
actually, Washington is pretty formidable themselves. You just didn't think so because you looked
Yeah.
past them.
I think Rhea Ripley is feeling insecure and it's showing now.
Yeah.
All her
Yeah.
Because
That's definitely what they're
because
going
Bianca
for.
Belair is on her level physically and
Mhm.
Yeah.
she's afraid of that.
And she also can't beat Io, so she's kind of afraid in the back. And
So
she's like,
Yeah.
when she's cheering Io Sky, it's not a problem because all she can see is that she was not cheering her for a minute. And the
Right.
person that physically matches up with her is a threat to her for real.
Mhm.
That
Yeah.
causes insecurity, which is why she only acknowledged the fact that it was her instead of both of them. She was cheering both of them,
Yeah. She was. Yeah.
but
One
she
thing I
chose
would
to
like
see
to
it
know
one way
though,
because she was insecure.
one thing I would like to know is how the heck do they figure out the first night's main event?
Right.
Think about how many matches are worthy.
Yeah.
They need 5
There are
nights, man.
there are four matches on the card that are main event worthy.
Right.
You
Second
know,
night is Cena and Cody, no matter what.
Yeah, for
night
sure.
two is 100% Cena winning the title from Cody and Cody starting his brand new
Mm,
storyline of trying to get it back from Cena.
Right.
interesting.
But like Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns could be a main event.
Yeah.
Tiffy versus Charlotte could be a main event. Main event. Io versus Rhea versus Bianca belongs as a main event, and it
Yeah.
still might be Uso against Gunther.
This is
Yeah.
the thing,
Yeah.
though, is Triple
Spot.
H has built it this way. He wants it all to look like a main event, and he's doing a
Yeah.
great job of this.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's a beautiful thing.
And
And
that's the
like,
thing with I'm not to compare AEW to WWE, but
mhm.
the fact that Tony Khan put something as a main event that shouldn't have been. WWE doesn't have this problem because it's all main events, and no matter
Yeah.
what you put as a main event, it works.
Yeah.
However, One thing I will say that they dropped the ball on is that I think Drew McIntyre should have been in a bigger match. And yeah, they're making the Damian Priest thing
I was
seem
going to say wrestle Damian
relevant
Priest,
because
right?
the
Hmm.
same reason Rhea and Io is a big thing on the low is that Priest has been the reason why McIntyre has had such a bad year.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems like all these one-on-ones has like a
I mean,
interruption. So who's going to be the third in that feud?
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's kind of seeming
Finn,
like. And
Jimmy?
Finn.
mm, it
I
could
mean,
be,
from
but
what I
Jimmy looks like he's
understand,
going
Drew.
after the U.S. championship, though.
Finn's facing
Yeah,
nobody
Finn wrestled
probably.
Breaker, but
From what I
But that's
understand,
Oh,
Drew
Breaker.
Drew is
Okay.
really, really not happy. It's the
no.
fact that he's not up higher on the WrestleMania card, and that he's got to wrestle Damien.
That's what we had mentioned that a few weeks ago that
yeah,
he was upset. But a lot of the reason why from the Royal Rumble that he was upset is that it was supposed to be a big deal that Damien threw him out. The same
yeah,
way it was a big deal when
Hmm.
Damien led
It's like
to,
a thorn in his side.
Crucify pinned Drew in the elimination chamber, and then Drew retaliated finally.
yeah.
Drew sees it
But
as
it's just
personal because
like
he keeps being the one that's screwing him over.
Logan
the thing
Paul
I
could
don't
wrestle
like about
AJ Styles
WrestleMania
at
so far.
night
The
one
thing
main
I don't
event.
like about WrestleMania so far is that there's no plans for the mid card titles at all. All four.
Yeah. And I think they do have a plan. They're just not revealing it until last minute. I love that.
Oh, you
Braun
well?
might wrestle Dom.
Oh no.
I feel
No,
like
No,
they're just long gaming it all the way until you're not going to know until because I mean the fact that they're changing title reigns is like people are dropping titles left and right now.
Well, remember what I said a few weeks ago that every single time that there's been a main event for the championship, it's changed hands.
Yeah,
Look what
yeah,
just happened. Street Profits just beat DIY for the
yeah,
championship.
they did.
right.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
What
then
like
if?
I said,
Finn Balor is fighting Braun Breaker.
right.
Yeah,
And
And
Finn could win the belt, and then that could set up Dom and Finn.
yeah.
exactly. And that's what I was
Yeah,
getting at, to where
That's happening.
if the main event is Finn against Braun, do not be surprised.
Right. If
Finn wins.
yep, yeah.
or
And then yeah, Finn against Dom could be a really good one.
Right. Because Liv was like, you should be getting the belt. And he's just like,
what if
Then
yeah.
Dom
chill.
costs Finn
We
the
got plenty.
title?
No,
that
I
could
I
think
be a
mean,
thing
then
I
too,
then
think
like a
then
Dom I think Dom wants to wrestle Finn because
For the
whoever he's
title.
wanting to bring in as this new member of the Judgment Day,
Mhm.
I think he wants to bring in a new Judgment Day member and have him and Liv kind of run things.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
also
Yeah,
what
yeah,
it's looking like is that Raquel, Dom, and Liv are going to be their own, and then all three of them are
Hmm.
going to have championships. Like
yeah.
Raquel's going after Lyra Valkyria's title,
Right.
begrudgingly to some because
Right.
her beating Bailey I thought was a bad idea,
Yeah.
but I didn't want to see Bailey against Lyra again, so it made sense.
Right.
But then like double champ Raquel would be interesting. But Dom having Dom having a title and then Liv and Rhea having titles. It would be kind of cool, and then have Finn do his own thing and figure out something alone where he can actually
Carlito
be
needs to get a
considered as a
belt.
winner. Because Finn deserves to be a winner again.
Yeah,
This
for sure.
is one of the only times I can remember that I don't even want to speculate. I just want to enjoy the show
Yeah.
because I don't know what they're gonna do at all.
But I like that,
I
like what
love
you're
it.
saying about the four mid cards. But my issue is not that we haven't figured it out; it's
Hmm.
that they haven't even alluded that there's a plan.
Right.
Not
Right.
that
Right.
that's an
Right.
issue that it's like a secret, but
Well, the
like
Intercontinental
so
title does kind of have a story going on around it.
Hmm.
there's a little bit though. Like there's an
Yeah.
off chance that Jacob Fatu, right?
Right.
Uh,
There's an off chance about like Braun Strowman against Jacob Fatu against maybe LA Knight or just them alone.
yeah.
But there's been a lot of those face-offs with certain people with those titles, but they're just,
Right.
I've heard.
I would like there to be a storyline about who would be next, but I fear we're just gonna get a tournament,
Yeah.
which
I've
we all
heard.
know how we feel about tournaments for title
Yeah.
matches,
Yeah.
especially one in WrestleMania.
I've
So,
heard rumblings of Jacob and Solo, and I don't understand that.
Well, it's
Oh, because
because
Jacob's better than Solo.
yeah, and Jacob's
It's back
becoming the
up.
leader. Like Tama Tonga is following Jacob, and he's
Yeah.
not following Solo anymore. And then like when Tonga Loa comes back, I imagine he's going to side with Jacob.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
just like,
Is he gonna try to low blow somebody to side with him, or
one of two things
and
always
Tonga Loa's
happens.
gonna
Like
miss.
the
Oh,
leader, people start thinking the leader's weak, and there's a warrior who is stronger, but is not necessarily the leader. And everybody starts following the warrior.
I mean,
And
it's kind of like
generally what happens is the leader ends up showing why he's the leader.
mm-hmm.
But
But
I don't
then
know if that's where they're going with this.
but
So,
the warrior shows aspects of leader because he's better on the mic than the leader.
right, right.
You
So,
I
know,
mean,
like
it's
Yeah.
he's
just like the whole
making
Solo and Roman thing again.
yeah,
but Solo, the thing is though, Solo did it because he was menacing. He didn't usurp power because he actually deserved it. It just he kind of seized it like Scar from Lion King.
Yes.
He was just
right,
like, you know what? I'm next because I was the enforcer, and Roman deep down is scared of me.
yeah,
But
And there
Solo's
were
scared of Jacob.
teases of that.
Oh, as soon as Solo came out with the white turtleneck that one day and said, "I love you, Jacob," and Jacob didn't say anything back, you could
Yeah.
tell the power dynamic.
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
You know, and they were saying, yeah, I think Jacob versus Solo does make sense though, but it's because in context where like you want to hand off this new bloodline if you're going to still do this new bloodline thing, which to be honest, I'm not sure where it's going to lead anymore because to make it all make sense, they'd have to fight the old bloodline again at some point. And I don't
Yeah.
know how many people want to see that again for a second year in a row.
Yeah. Also, on the contrary,
Mhm.
it could be risky too that they're slow building to, like they're not revealing to the last minute, because a lot of the big WrestleMania matches have this. One guy's been getting his ass kicked for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and we want to see him win. If
Yeah.
they book this match the week before, who's gonna want to see it more than if they were to build the feud a finished, like this is happening 6 weeks before?
Right. I mean, that's the thing. WrestleMania is supposed to be the culmination of
Yeah.
Right.
the year, and
But
then yeah,
in Triple H's WWE, WrestleMania is not the end anymore like it used to
right,
be.
yeah,
Next
Yeah.
year's WrestleMania could be the end.
yeah,
Well,
So
yeah,
that's
considering that we had the Cody moment like 2 years ago where we all knew that he would end up in some
yeah,
way fighting Roman again next year.
right.
And
He
even this
almost didn't.
year, if he loses when he loses the title to John Cena this year, at some point winning it, like at some point fighting The Rock,
yeah,
Right.
because
Maybe.
we know
I
at
think
some
at
point it's
some
going to
point,
happen.
The Rock's only getting older.
yeah.
I think
Yeah,
at some point they need to have Punk and Cody.
Oh yeah.
well, I think
I
they're
think
getting
Punk
it out
kind
of
of
the way
demands
with
that.
At WrestleMania.
well, it's at some point CM Punk needs to go for a title at WrestleMania. It's kind of like how I felt about the Cope and the Christian Cage. It was where like you get
Yeah.
these people and they put themselves over and they're good at what they do, and it's like you give that person a shot. And I think they're waiting for at some point CM Punk to go heel. And there is the inner workings of him being a heel because he's just naturally, I
Yeah.
think he's more of a heel than he is a face, even though he can do everything. There's nothing, there's no box that CM Punk can't fill.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But for him to be a champion, I think a heel CM Punk as champion is best for business.
Yeah,
I agree.
But it has to be led up to something. And now that he's going to be feuding, it looks like he's going to finish with Seth and feud with CM Punk or feud with Roman Reigns over the Wise Man. And then maybe the Wise Man and CM Punk come back together and then they're heels. And then it leads to CM Punk versus the champion Cena at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And then we finally get heel Cena versus face Randy Orton
right.
So here's
with Randy's voices coming back
the.
and the
So here.
punt a
Because he
face
hears
a face punt kick is interesting.
Yo.
yeah,
Interesting. Yeah.
So I know we probably should be wrapping this up soon, but how long has Moxley been doing the stomp?
What stomp?
He
Seth
does the
Rollins
stomp.
stomp.
Oh, really?
It's not. It hasn't been very long, bro. It's been, I don't know, 3 or 4 months.
Somebody's been watching
Okay.
TV.
Okay. I just saw him do it for the first time, and I was like,
Huh.
Moxley's doing the stomp now?
It hasn't been very
Well,
long. I
we
don't
also
think.
seen CM Punk and Roman Reigns last
Yeah.
week stomp.
The Shield all stomp now. That's crazy.
Yeah. The whole
All of them
Shield
stomp.
stomping.
The Shield
That's all of
stomp.
them. I was about to say. I was going to say all of them. Yeah, they have
Instead of triple power bomb, it's the triple stomp bomb.
all three of them just bounce off the ring together and just give a unanimous stomp.
Man.
That would be cool, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll write that in the next production meeting that me and Tony Khan have.
Yeah, well, we need to figure out how to get all three of them in the ring together.
Yeah.
Mhm. Tony Khan, since I know you're listening, you could hire me as a writer as long as you shut up and let me do my job.
Right. Which
Have
he
you
will,
guys been
because
listening to the Raw Rewind thing, the podcast?
yeah, Sam Roberts.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, what about him?
Oh, where Seth Rollins said that everything that he does to Roman Reigns, he does it with love.
But CM Punk is. I think that was just to show how much he hates CM Punk.
Hates
The fact
CM
that,
Punk.
yeah,
No, I think he really loves Roman Reigns.
I will
maybe.
say the facial expressions Roman Reigns does, he is up there with the
Yeah.
best. He's up there with the best because him seeing Paul Heyman help CM Punk and showing that that vindictiveness again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is does this mean is it heel Roman and heel Seth against face CM Punk in the triple threat of Mania?
Perhaps.
So I saw this fantasy booking
Or
where
they're tweeners. They could be tweeners too.
It could all
everybody
be.
thinks Paul Heyman's going to side with CM Punk. So
What if
That
Paul
would be
Heyman
cool.
sides
I
with
saw this
Seth
fantasy
Rollins?
booking where they don't really show it on the camera because they wanted to show the audience slowly or whatever. So, so somebody comes out and attacks Roman. CM Punk's already out of the ring or whatever. Somebody's wearing all black and they attack not CM Punk, Roman. Pin him 1, 2, 3. Ends up being Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman's right next to him.
That's what I'm saying.
I thought you were
Doesn't
gonna
choose
say it
either of it. He's like,
was
Seth
screw
Curtis
this
Rollins
guy.
Axel.
is the new Paul Heyman guy.
Right. It's like I've been there, done that with both of them. Let's do something new.
Yeah.
But
Never
new, sometimes new is good, but in this case, a
It's kind of
reunion
random.
between
Yeah.
the original Paul Heyman guy,
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I think it'd be nice, like a
The
little,
twist, though.
thing is though, CM Punk doesn't need a mouthpiece, but
No.
he obviously needs some help getting in the main event.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Who knows if that's even what the favor is? The favor maybe just
The
help me
favor
win.
could be anything he wants. So
Yeah.
Well, some people are saying
They-
that
you know.
the favor will get him into the main event, but Paul Heyman should not have that much pull
Right,
to be
exactly.
able
So it
to
has to be
make the main
logical.
event. So that's what it makes me feel like it might be that Paul Heyman doesn't help Roman Reigns when he fights CM Punk, and then that leads to Roman alienating from Paul Heyman, and then Paul Heyman has to find somebody to back.
The only thing is last year Roman Reigns said, if I'm not with Paul Heyman, I don't want to be here. So what does Roman Reigns do without Paul Heyman? What's his purpose without Paul Heyman?
Well, that's I think part of what needs to happen because
Does he want
then
revenge
he'll
on Paul
just
Heyman? Once he gets his revenge on Paul Heyman, then what?
then he goes and he joins John Cena and The Rock.
Whoa.
And Logan Paul. Don't forget about Logan Paul.
Oh yeah, he'll be
No,
there.
I forgot about Logan Paul.
I want to forget about Logan Paul.
I consciously, it doesn't even make sense, but it's an oxymoron, but I consciously forget about Logan Paul.
Logan Paul and Travis Scott.
Feud.
This is the problem with you letting your producer be part of your show. Is I could keep this thing going forever and ever and ever.
Yeah,
So
we
I
should have
will
wrapped
shut
up like an hour ago.
Yeah, I'll shut up and let you guys do what you got to do.
Yeah, what time is it?
We rap
Oh,
when
we
we
go
say
like 3
we
hours.
rap.
4:25.
Yeah, we go
12:25 here.
No, we're good. Yeah.
2:38 is what I got.
3 hours, baby.
Yeah.
I think we've covered plenty, and then
Yeah.
Keith, we'll talk about the what we're gonna kind of cover next week and figure out what
Sounds
it's
good to me.
looking like and rotation wise and knowing the production. And I think it's real fun this week. Lord knows we covered plenty. And
Yeah.
yes, a lot of these next few Raws and SmackDowns and AEWs, they're going to be leading to some good stories. And I think
Yeah.
we'll be
With
able
Raw
to
being,
fantasy book. I because I love fantasy booking. It's some of my favorite
yeah,
things about being a writer.
yeah. With Raw being in the middle of the afternoon tomorrow, in most parts of the country, that'll be interesting.
Yes, and John, what's up?
I think
Yeah.
Tyler just said he was kind of glad. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad because I don't have to wait till 8 p.m. to see what John Cena and Cody Rhodes are going to do.
Right.
Oh, because he's guaranteed to be there, right?
Yeah, both
Yeah.
of them.
Okay.
Cody Rhodes said, if you're going to be
Yeah.
there, I'm going to be there.
Dude,
Uh,
if they're
it
in
was
Belgium,
announced.
which I believe that's where they are,
Mhm.
someone needs to come out with a freaking plate of waffles.
They said
If our truth is not eating waffles on that show,
I do not want to see R-Truth with waffles because that just reminds me about the pancake gimmick with the New Day.
Yeah, that's what I thought of too.
That was an outwardly racist thing that they were doing.
they said that
Yeah, I never
they
even
announced
thought about
Cody for
I
the
was
show,
just
and then
thinking
they
our truth
said that
being funny would be the
they
Oh,
said that
he
Cena was
is
going to
wearing.
be there because he's over there in Europe doing a movie, so he's not very far from there.
Yeah, I believe that was the reasoning, but also, God, that he better not come out in jorts. If I see heel John Cena in jorts, I'm going to lose my face.
How about this? Heel John Cena in heels.
well.
He's done it before. Come on.
He's already worn. You've seen the Ricky Stenicki movie.
Yeah,
He'll wear a dress. He'll do all that
He
stuff.
did it
Yeah,
on the
he'll
big
do it.
screen. Netflix is
Mhm.
on the small screen. Let's do it.
Yep, he's
I
a
think you
big
should.
Amazon Prime guy. So
Wait, was
Oh,
Ricky
shit.
Stenicki on the big screen? I don't think it.
that was a
Yeah, that's a
movie.
fine movie. Yeah,
Yeah, it was a Prime movie,
fun
and
though.
I
It was fun though.
watched it.
He was
Yeah.
delusional in that movie.
He's delusional right now.
I'm about to say you
Right?
have to be delusional to be on top of your game. You know.
It's wild. I mean, we're getting way off topic now, but it's wild how he
Yeah.
put out like two pretty decent Amazon Prime movies, like back to back, like in a year. Like they
Yeah.
both came out really fast. But
No,
I like.
he's a hard worker, and he's doing everything. He's like, but yeah, this is what is needed. And yes, take that as a hot take, but Roman Reigns, The Rock, and John Cena need to be a faction.
It's not a reach.
Wow.
It's a spoiler.
I mean, let's
Yeah.
see it. Let's see it.
Remember, my gimmick is that I'm actually the WWE writer, so I'm just
You-
really telling you
But
what I
Logan Paul
think.
needs to be Louis
You're
Piccoli,
you're not very good at your job then because you're telling the world right now.
right?
Well-
All 3 people in the world.
Because maybe that's my plan to just give us, so people can be like, oh, let's
We need to
figure out
watch Roundtable
right.
Wrestling because
They're like, oh, exactly. We'll figure
Yeah.
out he's right. And turns out, yeah. And I will, Keith, I don't know if you want to help me, but I've been looking back. I do want to collect all of the predictions I've made that came about.
Nice.
I'm going to figure
Right
out
on.
when exactly I said it because I want the credit. And I will be
Actually-
given the credit.
Actually, it would make more sense if you worked for AEW because you'd be like Eric Bischoff. Don't bother watching WWE because this, and this happened.
Hey, what about
No,
all
I'm
the
actually
predictions that
the
I've made?
TNA writer. I'm actually the TNA writer.
Well, TNA's parent company is WWE, basically.
Exactly.
Partner company, not parent company.
Well, I'm just saying in layman's terms.
My dad went to Lehman College.
Hey now,
Yeah, that's Lehman in New York.
Dude,
Shout out to Lehman College.
it was so long ago that I can't remember exactly, but I would like to reiterate that whatever it was that I said about fried chicken, It was because there is delicious fried chicken in Chicago. It was not racist. Please don't Jim Cornette me.
Oh no. I personally was saying that to the thing you said before.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
no, I didn't think
I don't
that,
even remember now what I even said, but,
I don't think that was a hey now.
but
It was it
Yeah.
was relevant.
I will say my eyebrows did go up for a second. Then I remembered it was Keith that said. I was like, never mind. He's not like that.
Yeah.
yeah, dude, the Chicago. Okay, so the Chicago bus station has some of the most amazing fried chicken
They
I've ever
do.
had in my life.
I've been there
On top of
several
that,
times.
yeah, on top of that, there is a Chicken Shack, Charlie's Chicken Shack, I believe it's called. There's a couple locations in Chicago. Amazing fried chicken. So I was being completely serious when I said it, but then
You just
because
had to
we were
make sure you
talking
said
about
it during the 15 best
yeah,
black wrestlers.
just a coincidence, dude. It was, yeah, just bad
That's
coincidence,
funny.
Keith is canceled.
right? No, I'm trying to avoid that. That's the pre-apology apology.
I'm gonna drop
Can't
that
be.
clip on your YouTube channel too, so you
Of
can't
course
post
you
there
are.
either.
I was gonna say, there's no way that we get canceled before AEW. There's no way.
No, because they have more money
We
than
will
us.
last. We will outlast AEW. I'll tell you that for free.
Right on.
Might outlast the Judgment Day at this point too.
Oh yeah,
No,
they're
no.
done. They're
Yeah,
done for.
Justin Day comes really soon. 2
Mhm.
weeks.
I do like the thought of Dom versus Finn for WrestleMania if that's the case.
Yeah.
And yeah, I am guessing that if that main event is a championship match, because the way Triple H has been doing it almost every week, the tag titles the last 3 months have changed hands 4 times on a SmackDown or Raw.
And then Braun Breaker could go down to TNA and challenge Joe Hendry because somebody needs to.
Well,
And
so you're
Braun
saying
Breaker could beat the hell out of
Braun Breaker goes down
Hendry.
to NXT and fights Joe Hendry?
No, TNA goes to TNA.
Well, because
But
has anybody gone from the main roster down to TNA?
No.
I don't think so. It's all been NXT. But somebody
Yeah, that's
asked
what
him
I'm saying
something.
because Braun Breaker is a straight up main roster, I think.
Yeah, somebody
Braun
asked him
Breaker in
something.
NXT would be a pretty interesting situation, though.
Yeah, he was just there though.
I know.
No,
That'd be
I'm
crazy
saying
if he went
I
he
there.
just
shows up
bro, I just figured it
on
out.
Impact.
Didn't we
And-
just figure it out? Braun Breaker was the other one. He was the other double champ. Remember, he retired the UK championship.
Gotcha.
That's what I was remembering.
Gotcha.
Okay, because he was the very recent one after Keith Lee to be the double champion.
Gotcha. Right
Yes.
on. And now we have Stephanie McCare,
Yes, we do, and her cheeks.
double women's champ,
Mm-hmm.
but she needs to lose one of those belts to Fallon Henley. Fallon needs your belt back.
I just don't know how are they just gonna keep it as two? Because remember we were talking about it being unified, and I
Okay,
think
but
it's a bad idea.
did you see Vic Joseph, the moron?
Yeah,
He
he's
made a post where he said that he never said that it was a unification match, even though
did.
he clearly said it was a unification match
Yeah.
at least 3 times. Vic
That's what I
Joseph,
remember. You sent that text. He was like Vic Joseph is a moron. He said,
it
yeah.
sucks. Jeremy Borash works for WWE. Why isn't Jeremy Borash the lead commentator on NXT?
He should be.
Yeah, million times better than Vic Joseph.
Ford needs to come back up to the main roster, and they
Pete
need to
Rosenberg sucks. He's Pete Rosenberg as a commentator. He
Yeah.
is bad.
Yeah.
Shout out to the New York legend.
Whatever.
He's just bad.
He
He's just
tries
bad
to
as
do
Joe
an old
Test.
school like '80s thing where the baby face tries to trip up the heel with him and Rob Stone,
Yeah.
and it's just bad. It's just bad.
He's
Watch
a
it.
fanboy that wants to be in it, and it's just really not. Shout out to him though. Shout out to
Yeah, live in your dreams, man.
yeah. I remember
That's
when he
just
was
like
Cypher Sounds,
you guys.
Cypher Sounds in Rosenberg when he was really big on there until they
You guys watched
inexplicably fired him.
WWE TV on A&E Sunday night.
I just watch LG. I don't watch the rest of it.
All right. Well, they got this guy, this big fat dude, Gabriel Iglesias.
I know who he is.
I mean,
That's
Fluffy?
Huh?
Fluffy.
He's not flat.
fluffy.
He's not fat. He's fluffy.
I was about to say, don't call him that guy. He was one of the top 10 stand-up
Bad
comedians.
comedians of all time. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know
I
why
never
they.
thought that dude was funny, but yeah.
He's a
I
big
know.
Yeah,
wrestling
me
fan.
either.
That's why
Yeah.
he's made
Yeah,
AEW
well,
appearances too.
they got he's doing Rivals now instead of Freddie Prinze Jr. and he's just annoying, and they shouldn't let super fans do trying to host a wrestling show.
That's
I
people
never
that have
thought
money trying
Gabriel
to
Iglesias
host a
was
wrestling
funny.
show. Yeah, that's exactly what that is.
Yeah. Never thought he was funny. Can I
Me
say
Gabriel
that
either.
one more time? I've never thought Gabriel Iglesias was funny.
Oh man, I remember him when he debuted on Comedy Central
Me
Presents.
too. But didn't
I've
think he was funny.
seen
Yeah.
he's so good with voices. He's
Yeah.
not Pablo Francisco with voices, but he's
He's not Rich Little.
yeah.
Rich Little did an entire movie, Robin Hood, and he did every single freaking character in that movie. He's also done Christmas Carol as every single character. Rich Little was amazing. Best impressionist of all time.
Well, it's also he has the one of the funniest names. His name is Dick Little.
It is Dick Little.
That's
Oh, it's hilarious. Oh, no.
good shit.
That's funny.
Oh my gosh, fellas. So we're getting out of here now on that
Yeah,
note.
we
Yeah,
should.
I think we should.
All
Yeah,
right.
I'm going to
Shout
set
out
up
to Little
stuff.
Dick or Dick Little.
Yeah, shout out Dick Little.
Yeah. Shout out Little Dicky. All right.
No, don't shout out Little Dicky. He'll
No,
Put him-
yeah, don't shout out Little Dicky or
I'm
Dick
gonna
Little.
mute my mic for the rest of the show.
Yeah. But Chad needs to sleep while we watch TNA.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start playing Madden a little bit because my sleep schedule is weird. So
I'm going to go watch LFG because my bad back kept me in bed all day and I didn't do
I hear
much.
that. Let me know how that goes, and then we'll start talking about that. And I'm gonna start fishing for more. I feel like Instagram, Twitter, all of those are like the best ways I find stuff
Yeah,
for
you
wrestling.
find a link to something and yeah. Yeah.
It's fun though. It's beautiful that WWE and TNA and AEW, all of them, they're so prevalent on the the news feed
Yeah,
for me, and
for sure.
there's always something going on, and there's always something to talk about. Lord knows we can talk for hours about the most minor things, let alone
We have.
there's so much content
We have. I
in
mean,
the
we're
wrestling
still here,
world.
and it's 2.5 hours later.
Yes,
Yeah.
we heard
I
that.
think we've
Yeah.
proven that tonight, yeah.
It's because I keep interrupting with stupid conspiracy
Well,
theories that are.
I mean, I
probably not
wasn't
even
gonna
real.
go there, Tyler, but
I got one
Don't
more.
worry,
If you
don't
guys have
worry.
time.
We won't
Say you have one more.
Yeah.
Oh God,
we might as well sneak it in right now.
All
I'm
right,
almost
cool.
afraid to ask, bro.
he
What do you got?
said, "All right."
All right, let's do
What do
this.
you got?
I'm almost afraid to ask.
Roman Reigns lost the championship at WrestleMania. He was getting really close to Hulk Hogan's title reign, which would make him third, right? Third top.
Behind San Martino.
Right. So I think, this is not really what I think, but I think that he will wait until he has passed all of them and then reveal to everybody that he's been the Universal Champion this whole time. There was a clause in the contract
So he only lost
for the
world title?
Undisputed Championship where, if you think about it, Cody never has called it the Universal Championship. It's always been even when he won it, they said that in new Undisputed WWE Champion.
They say that every time they announce him.
Yeah, so
he's the champion of so Roman Reigns is still the champion of the universe, but
he's
like
the Universal Champion. So if he
in a different
surpasses-
multiverse, he's still the champion.
So if he waits until he's passed everybody and then tells everybody, nobody can say
I think
that. Nobody can pin him for it and say that he's like. Once somebody pins him for it after that, it wouldn't matter because he's already been the longest reigning champion of all time.
That should have just been what the Ulafala match was, and be like, fight me for the actual championship since I won.
The
I still have
Ufalafa?
the two. He still has the two belts anyway, right? So why don't that just be his thing, like how Kevin Owens had the winged eagle? He's like, no, I'm the champ.
Yep, that's how it works.
Well, that's the thing though, because when those titles came together, he carried both of them for a while, and then when Triple H made the new belt, he carried all 3 of them.
Yep.
So
He
they
wanted
never
to carry all
unified
3 of
those
them.
belts.
Yeah.
No,
So
He just got
technically the
lazy
lineage-
because he never shows up. This is his character. I'm not actually mad that he don't show up. I love it, but he got lazy and he never shows up, so he didn't feel like
and
3 belts was
technically-
necessary.
That's funny.
Technically, he still has those other 2 belts.
That's so
He
funny.
could. Tell me I'm wrong. We'll see. Long build
wrong.
too. They love long storylines. So
It's a long
Tell me I'm
story.
wrong. You're wrong.
and also
You're wrong.
also imagine an 8-year storyline where he's been the champion since he became the tribal chief. I mean,
And just
come on.
defending the belt. He's just been.
I think
why
we're
would you
going
if
on
you-
an 8-year storyline with the bloodline right now.
There's
Yeah.
no reason to defend the belt.
The bloodline's been
Nobody knows
storyline.
that's called smart thinking.
Yeah.
It is.
Bloodline's
now
been
it's 30
storyline
day
ever
clause
since
is
Rikishi. They should show it back since when Rikishi did it for The Rock. That was actually the beginning. And then maybe like 3 years later, Jimmy and Jay were born.
Right.
And then Rikishi said, "One day you're going to have to do it for The Rock, and I'll tell you when, just not yet. You'll know when. I'll give you the sign." And then
Jay
you're gonna-
wants to beat Rikishi up, by the way. Very angry with him.
And Rikishi wants to beat up Vince Russo.
So there you go. Triple threat.
triple
Jay,
threat. match.
Rikishi, and
You all
Vince
know
Russo.
triple threats are no DQ, so
As long as Russo gets the hip attack, I don't care.
as long as Damage Control comes back in full to fight
Yes.
Jade and Naomi.
Dude, you know that freaking Bailey wanted to give Io a hug so bad
Oh yeah.
when they were like, when they were all a team. Kept looking at her. It's like, man, that was a waste. That was a wasted turn. That was a wasted breakup.
It was.
Very
Damage Control they're all baby faces now. You know,
Not only that it didn't really lead to much with
that's
Bayley.
it. And Bailey worked the 3 of them worked so well together. Like, it was just dumb. Like, I don't.
Also, it feels weird that Bianca is gonna end up winning in WrestleMania, and Io Sky is her whole run would have been for nothing, just for Bianca to fight Jade for the title,
I hope that's
because Jade's going to squash Naomi.
Yeah. Well, that's
Well, I mean, that's obvious.
Not saying.
And then Jade is going to. I think Jade might go out and they think that Jade's going to help Bianca,
Right.
and then she beats Naomi because.
I mean,
or she
Naomi.
beats and lets Io win because she knows that she can beat Io.
I mean, Naomi did the same
But she
thing.
can't.
Rikishi did. I did it for you.
I mean, but do you remember what the end result was of Rikishi doing it for The Rock? Steve Austin beat the living hell out of him.
He did.
Like, those matches were not even competitive.
No, they weren't.
So, you know, I mean, I feel
So-
like Jade and Naomi may be
so
similar.
Jade- Yeah, so Jade is gonna beat the hell out of Naomi like all the time, like she did at the Elimination Chamber. She whooped the shit out that bitch.
Yeah, yeah, that was asshole for sure. All right, gentlemen.
Yes.
All right.
It's been fun.
It's been real. It's been fun.
Hopefully, everyone who's been listening has had a good time as well.
Yep.
Thank you
Hopefully
so
y'all
much for
had fun
hanging out with
listening
us.
and caught up on your wrestling news and all that. And
keep
we will
watching.
be back next week.
Yes.
In
Yes,
some
we will.
Watching
fashion.
us, checking us out. Like we said, like, subscribe. You'll get
won't
weekly
think.
from us.
Check out ME Studios, the Patreon umbrella. Pick up some Patreon subscriptions and get Tyler some dough because he deserves it. And get exclusive content like me babbling by myself instead of babbling with other people.
With us.
Yeah,
And maybe
And,
we'll set up some merch.
yeah, man.
and if y'all if y'all like wrestling merchandise, check out Midwest Wrestling Collectibles.
Yes, sir.
We have a YouTube channel. We have a Facebook page, Instagram page, you name it.
All right, man. So, for Pablo, Hito Aquino, Chad Big Tug Vandemark, and the producer who decided to stop in, Tyler, Mr. Emmy Studios Martin.
The great.
I'm Keith Wildman Miller, and we'll see y'all next week with more Roundtable Wrestling.
Peace.